Chapter 32:17. Support Lord Golden Wyrm. The two women from the Sheiji race heard the roar of the Horned Seal race expert, and their expressions changed drastically. The Horned Seal race expert, Venerable Golden Wyrm, was called over by them. Now that they heard the roar, the two of them immediately flew up into the sky. The rest of the Venerable's expressions changed as they did not know what to do. The 7 to 8 experts from the universe's beginner races hesitated for a moment before following behind. Voila! At this moment, Wang Xian, who had attacked the Venerable Golden Wyrm, immediately looked down and squinted his eyes. The unbeginning sacred wings flapped, and he flew down at a terrifying speed. He locked his gaze on the group of venerables behind the two women from the Sheiji race. The two women from the Sheiji race were only rank 3 universe venerables. However, with that strange statue, it would be troublesome for Wang Xian to eliminate them. Therefore, he locked his gaze on the 70 to 80 universe venerables behind. This group of universe supremacies, the strongest was only a level 2 universe supremacy. Their line of sight was greatly obstructed by the clouds and mist. Swish! At this moment, the two women from the Sheiji race who were flying up into the sky felt a sound attacking them. They focused their gazes and hugged the statue in their hands, emitting a strange energy. Oh no, the Dragon King is attacking us. At this moment, a fearful voice came from behind them. Oh no. The two women from the Sheiji race had a change of expression. Ah! Wang Xian arrived before the group of venerables at a terrifying speed, his dragon claws slashing through their bodies. Wang. Below, a dragon tomb appeared and engulfed them. 5 elements annihilation river. Wang Xian opened his mouth and a grayish torrent swept through the 70 to 80 universe venerables. No, no. Run, run. Bam, bam, bam. Some of the venerables screamed in despair as they desperately tried to escape in all directions. However, Wang Xian was faster. The Annihilation River swept over as Wang Xian's 5 elements dragon claws engulfed everyone, knocking them into the dragon tomb. The terrifying energy within the dragon tomb quickly wiped out their last chance of survival. Dragon King, you are courting death. The two women from the Snake Charmer clan reacted as they turned around and let out a sharp cry. On top of their statues, a black poisonous snake flew out and let out a horrifying roar. It's a little slow. Wang Xian swept his gaze over and revealed a mocking expression. With a wave of his arm, he collected the 70 to 80 corpses. You low-level races of the universe are simply seeking your own destruction. Our Dragon Palace is not the Sky Ocean Dragon King. Wang Xian easily dodged the attacks of the two venomous snakes. With a flap of the unbeginning sacred wings, he flew to the side and said plainly, the group of universe supremacies that followed the Snake Lady clan were killed. What should we do? What should we do? What's the situation with the Lord of the Hornseal race? Without him to deal with the Dragon King, all of us would have been killed by the Dragon King sooner or later. Supremacy Golden Wyrm is completely pinned down. We're not a match for the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. Below, the group of venerables from the primary races of the Galaxy River Starry Sky universe had ugly looks on their faces. The number of universe venerables that died at the hands of Dragon Palace's Dragon King had already reached 70 to 80. Although he wasn't an expert from their race, he was now on the same side as them. The fox mourned the death of the rabbit. They might be next. Moreover, the strength displayed by the Dragon Palace made them fearful. They were a race from the Galaxy River Starry Sky. If the Dragon Palace were to seek revenge on them in the future, given the terrifying strength of the Dragon Palace, they could be easily annihilated. I didn't expect the experts from the Hornseal race, the Twin race, and the Snake Lady clan to be no match for the Dragon Palace. That Dragon King has already killed close to 100 universe supremacies. His strength is too terrifying. Fortunately, we didn't participate. The strength of the Dragon Palace is much more terrifying than the Sky Ocean Dragon King. In the battle to kill the Sky Ocean Dragon King, the Dragon Palace's Dragon King played a crucial role. In the end, the Dragon Palace was only given 20% of the spoils of war. They're in big trouble now. Not to mention the spoils of war, I don't know how many supremacies will die. The surrounding experts from the primary races of the universe were shocked as they watched the battle in the sky. This time, all the forces had underestimated the Dragon Palace, and they had paid a heavy price for it. Even the distribution of the spoils of war would be hard to say. The Star River clan spoils of war? We, the Kenai race, don't want it. The two elders from the Twin race and the few universe supremacies from the Winter Moon clan exchanged glances and said with a bitter expression, "The speed of the Dragon Palace's Dragon King was so fast that they couldn't beat him at all. They could only be hunted down passively. If they continued to fight, they might be the ones to die. Even if the resources of the entire Star River clan were given to them, they wouldn't dare to fight for it. They could already tell that they couldn't win this battle." The words of the experts from the Kenai race made everyone's expression change. We, the experts from the Winter Moon clan, had a change of expression, and they had the intention to retreat. Hee. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the group. With a shift of his body, he did not attack again. Instead, he flew to the side. There were still a bunch of corpses of the Star River clan and great demons that hadn't been collected. He flew over and collected all the corpses. The mist in the center disappeared, and the Twin race, Mechas, and Snake Lady clan gathered together. Behind them were close to 200 universe supremacies. Wang Xian floated in the air and stared at them mockingly. "Continue, or scram immediately." He swept his gaze across the crowd and asked emotionlessly, "Dragon King, your Dragon Palace doesn't have the capability to make us leave." Upon hearing his words, the two elders of the Twin races replied with cold expressions, "You can kill them, but you can't kill us. We will still get a share of the resources this time." The Mecha stared at Wang Xian and echoed coldly, "It's all right. I'll count how many resources you take away to the races behind you. If they don't compensate the Dragon Palace, I'll annihilate them." Wang Xian chuckled, and his tone was full of malice. "Dragon King, you don't go too far." The experts from the low-level races in the universe were shocked upon hearing his words. They clenched their fists and growled in a low voice. "So what if I'm bullying you? Since you dare to besiege our Dragon Palace, we're already being merciful by not annihilating you." Wang Xian swept his gaze across them, and his eyes were filled with mockery and disdain. They had to pay the price for going against the Dragon Palace. It would be difficult for them to stop the Hornseal race, Twin race, Snake Lady clan, and that mecha. Some of the treasures would definitely fall into their hands. But it didn't matter. They could just make up for it from the low-level races in the universe. Chapter 32:18. Hoo. Within the plaza of the Rising Dragon Association, Dongyu and the other Star River universe primary race supremacies were breathing rapidly. This time, they had called the Twin races and the Snake Charmer race over to tide over this crisis. They had already paid a huge price. Now that a lesser dragon had been killed, a true dragon had appeared. The domineering attitude of the Dragon Palace's Dragon King made their faces turn ugly. If the Dragon Palace really wanted them to pay a certain price and take out some treasures as compensation, they would be annihilated if they disagreed. This was not much different from submitting to the Tianhai Dragon King. Either he took out treasures as compensation, or he fled the starry sky of the Star River. As for the others, the experts of the Hornseal race and the Twin races couldn't protect them all the time. The Dragon Palace was slightly different from the Heavenly Sea Dragon King. The Tianhai Dragon King was arrogant and domineering. Although the Dragon Palace was domineering, they always had a plan. If he really wanted to exterminate them, they wouldn't be able to stop him with their strength. Unless the Dragon Palace was destroyed. My lord. They looked at the experts of the Twin races and the Snake Lady race with an abnormally ugly expression. The two elders of the Twin races didn't look too good either. "Dragon King of Dragon Palace, do you know that you are making an enemy out of us, the Snake Charmer tribe, and the Hornseal boars? Have you considered the consequences of becoming our enemy?" The two elders of the Twin races stared coldly at Wang Xian and threatened him. "I want to see what will happen to him." As Wang Xian spoke, he squinted his eyes and looked at the two elders from the Twin races. "If I'm not wrong, the strongest expert from the Twin races is only a rank for Universe Venerable. Have you ever thought about the consequences of offending the Dragon Palace? Who didn't know how to threaten? The twin race was a mid-level race in the universe, but they were merely the weakest mid-level race in the universe. Their strongest expert was a level 4 universe supremacy, and with the Dragon Palace's current strength, it would not be a problem for them to go against a dozen level 4 universe supremacies. Not to mention the increase in strength after the resources this time. It was hard to say who would destroy who. His words caused the expressions of the two elders from the twin races to change slightly. Haha, a bunch of trash. Today, you want to invade our Dragon Palace's resources. Our Dragon Palace is not afraid of starting a war with you. Wang Xian let out a hearty laugh. With a swift move, he flew to a position about 10,000 meters ahead. Damn it! Seeing that the Dragon King was right in front of them, and feeling the intense provocation, their faces turned gloomy. Scarab Venerable, we are no match for the Dragon King. We will return first. A universe venerate said to the mecha. His figure seemed a little illusory. Let's go. The Dragon King's speed is too terrifying. Beside him, a few more universe venerables were illusory. If they couldn't win the battle, staying here would only mean death. Naturally, they wouldn't court death. One by one, the venerables began to flee, instantly returning to their own divine kingdoms. Saint-armored venerable swept his gaze across the mother port, but his expression did not change at all. He looked at the two elders of the twin races and the two women of the snake charmer race. If you want to leave, then leave. The two elders of the twin races said. The battle for the spoils of war was no longer something they could participate in. Yes, yes. The group of universe venerables had a change of expression. After hesitating for a moment, they still prepared to leave. They could no longer participate in this battle. Continuing to fight here would simply be courting death. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, several figures exuding powerful auras flew over from the front. There were a total of 300 figures, and every one of them exuded the aura of a universe venerable. Sensing the terrifying aura, the two elders of the twin races and the two women of the snake charmer race were shocked. Those are experts from the Dragon Palace. They are experts from the Dragon Palace. Looking at the terrifying wind divine dragons swaying in front of them, their faces were unusually solemn. Just this terrifying aura alone was enough to make them feel immense pressure. One had to know that they had the combat strength of a rank for Universe Venerable. Why are the experts from the Dragon Palace here so quickly? Aren't they at Milky Way? Why are they here so quickly? The two elders of the twin races were shocked. They had already reported the situation here to the clan, and now the clan had sent experts over. However, it would take at least a few days to rush over from Landlocked Star. Yet, the experts from the Dragon Palace had arrived so quickly. Didn't they say that the teleportation formation between Galaxy River and Milky Way had been destroyed? Once the experts from the Dragon Palace arrived, all the resources would be taken away by them. Dragon King, we agree with you. Dragon Palace will get half. The two elders of the twin races exchanged glances and spoke with different expressions. Are you guys idiots? Upon hearing them, Wang Xian sneered. He looked at the members of the Dragon Palace who were flying over and immediately ordered, collect all the treasures of Galaxy River Clan. You guys don't have to participate in the battle here. Yes, Dragon King. Upon hearing Wang Xian's order, the leaders of the Dragon Palace immediately responded. Dragon King, are you guys trying to take everything for yourselves? Are you ignoring us completely? The two women of the snake charmer race looked gloomy as blood dripped from their faces. Stop the people from the Dragon Palace. Our Horn Seal race can guarantee your safety. In the sky, the Horn Seal race saw that the experts from the Dragon Palace had arrived and shouted immediately. They were already pinned down. If no one held back the experts from the Dragon Palace, they wouldn't be able to get any treasures. The two elders of the twin races frowned and looked at the people from the Winter Moon race beside them. Hee, you guys can try to stop them. Let's see if you guys will be annihilated by the Dragon Palace in the future. Wang Xian smiled and glanced at the people from the Winter Moon race. Not to mention whether they could stop the experts from the Dragon Palace. Once they dared to do so, the Dragon Palace would annihilate them. Even the Horn Seal race couldn't protect them. Gulp. The group of venerables from the Winter Moon race looked at the 300 experts from the Dragon Palace and the domineering Dragon King and pursed their lips. Going against the Dragon Palace? No matter what the result was, they could forget about staying in Galaxy River Galaxy. Sir, the Venerable from the Winter Moon race had a change of expression as he looked at the two elders of the twin races. The Snake Charmer race and the Saint-Armored Venerable looked gloomy as they knew that they didn't want to go against the Dragon Palace. At this time, the 300 experts from the Dragon Palace had entered the Galaxy River clan and started to collect treasures. The Witch Dragon, who was specially brought over, started to search for the Cosmos God Nation with the help of the treasures. Wang Xian floated there quietly with a smile on his face, sealing all of them. Chapter 32:19. One man guarding the pass, 10,000 can't get through. Wang Xian stood there calmly while the experts from the twin races, Sheiji family, Saint-Armored Venerable, and other forces looked at him with a bitter expression. The low-level races in the universe did not dare to make a move. The strength that Dragon Palace had displayed had them in awe. Dragon King of Dragon Palace, are you going to make us your enemy? Dragon Palace, you better think about the price of making us your enemy. The experts from the Horned Seal race who were pinned down by the Sky Array Willow deity bellowed furiously. Today, either you defeat us and fight for the resources, or get lost. As for being your enemy, Dragon Palace is not afraid at all. Wang Xian looked at the venerable golden WYRM of the Horned Seal race and said plainly, "Roar, roar. Good, good, very good. Just you wait and see." Upon hearing Wang Xian, the venerable golden WYRM's face was filled with murderous intent. His body moved, and he immediately retreated to the back. Now, there was no need to continue the battle. They could not fight against Dragon Palace and could only watch helplessly as Dragon Palace took away a large number of treasures. The experts from the Horned Seal race can't fight against the experts from Dragon Palace at all. Dragon Palace is simply too strong. I never expected their strength to be so terrifying. Another force from the divine dragon lineage has risen. The experts of the various races in the surrounding galaxy who did not participate in the battle were shocked when they saw this. Dragon Palace had withstood the experts from the three major races and the horrifying mechas all by themselves. If they had distributed the spoils according to what Dragon Palace said at the beginning, they could have gotten quite a number of treasures. But now, some of them pursed their lips and looked at the venerable golden WYRM. Perhaps they were not greedy, but they did not expect Dragon Palace to be so powerful. Venerable golden WYRM. The two women from the Snake Charmer clan flew towards Supremacy Golden WYRM. The venerable golden WYRM nodded with a gloomy face and looked down. A group of experts from Dragon Palace was plundering all kinds of treasures. The strength of the Star River clan was not weak. The treasures that their clan possessed could even tempt the Horned Seal clan. Now that he saw the treasure that originally belonged to them being taken away by others, his heart burned with rage. The people of Dragon Palace are too arrogant. They have no respect for us at all. A woman said with a changing expression, "Our people will need a few more days to get here. During this time, they should be able to take away all the treasures here." The other woman from the Sheiji clan also had an ugly expression. They originally thought that it would be a huge harvest, but they didn't expect this kind of result. "Everyone, farewell." The Scent-Armored Venerable shook his head when he saw that. He moved and immediately left. The Scarab Venerable was a lone traveler in the universe. He did not have his own race. He wasn't going to get involved in the current situation. Continuing to participate might not do him any good. As he spoke, his figure flickered as he left. Lord Golden Flood Dragon, the two elders of the twin races flew over with ugly expressions on their faces. The Sky Sea Dragon King's Dragon Palace is a huge treasure trove. Together with the treasures of the Star River clan, the venerable Golden Flood Dragon's expression also changed slightly. As a former divine dragon, a former dragon king, the value of the Sky Sea Dragon Palace alone was terrifying, even if there were no more treasures in it. Together with the treasures of the entire Star River clan, the resources were too terrifying. That Dragon Palace is improving very quickly. There must be a powerful divine dragon inheritance in the Dragon Palace, the two women from the Sheiji clan said. Now, they were considering whether to take action against the Dragon Palace. Once they took action, they would have to destroy the Dragon Palace. Otherwise, the revenge of a divine dragon lineage would be terrifying, especially since the Dragon Palace had a purebred divine dragon. The existence of a purebred divine dragon would have a much greater future potential than them. Let's check the situation of the Dragon Palace first before making a decision. After witnessing the terrifying power of the Dragon Palace, the venerable Golden Flood Dragon didn't dare to recklessly start a war. Although the Horned Seal clan was an intermediate race in the universe, they weren't too strong. There was still a huge gap between them and those powerful races in the starry sky. They didn't have many rank 5 universe supremacies in their race. Before they had the confidence to destroy the Dragon Palace, they wouldn't take action recklessly. The twin races and the Shaggy clan were silent. If the Horned Seal clan didn't take action, it would be hard for them to destroy the Dragon Palace given their strength. Damn the Dragon Palace. The two women from the Shaggy clan looked around with gloomy faces. This time, they were here for the dragon blood and the Dragon Palace. In the end, they only obtained the corpse of an alternative dragon. The venerable Golden Flood Dragon and the rest didn't continue attacking. Wang Xian and the rest floated in the void, locking onto them. Time passed slowly. Below, the members of the Dragon Palace had obtained a large number of treasures. None of the Cosmos God nations could find them. Dragon King, we've basically gathered everything that we could. After 10 hours, the leaders of the Dragon Palace walked over excitedly. Great, let's go back. Wang Xian smiled and waved at them. Go back. The group of leaders of Dragon Palace let out a shout and their figures slowly disappeared. What was left was the venerable Golden Flood Dragon and the rest who had a gloomy expression. Dragon King, there are many treasures in the treasury of the Star River clan. Most importantly, there are large amounts of treasures in the Sky Sea Dragon Palace. They should have been given to the Sky Sea Dragon King by the demons and the Star River clan. These resources can easily increase the number of universe supremacies in the Dragon Palace. Also, the resources from the Cosmos God nations and their resources can increase the number of universe supremacies in the Dragon Palace by another 200. Prime Minister Turtle and the rest finished counting the resources and revealed an excited look. I have about 550 corpses of universe supremacies here. Among them, there's one rank 4 and 7 to 8 rank 3. Wang Xian waved his arm and took out all the corpses he had kept. He was full of smiles. The rewards of the Dragon Palace this time was much more than the rewards from the annihilation of the 3 races. The Star River clan had lost over 300 universe supremacies this time, in addition to the group of demons and those he killed later on. There were a total of over 500. These corpses could increase the fighting power of Dragon Palace by at least 500 universe supremacies. After this, the Dragon Palace will have the strength of a middle-tier race in the universe. Wang Xian's eyes shone. Chapter 32:20. The resources this time are almost enough for me to improve. In the Dragon King Hall of the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian's eyes sparkled as he read the information before him. There were hundreds of treasures in the God Kingdoms of the Universe Venerables, including the Star River Clan Patriarch's God Kingdom. This was a terrifying amount of resources. These resources could allow the Dragon Palace to produce more than 100 universe supremacies. Wang Xian roughly estimated that these resources were sufficient for him to achieve a breakthrough in his strength. Very good. Now that I've broken through, the 5 elements grindstone in my hand should be able to break through as well. It's a pity that I didn't obtain the Sky Sea Dragon King's corpse and his acquired treasure this time, he murmured. The corpse of the Heavenly Sea Dragon King might be able to give birth to a golden dragon in the Dragon Palace, and there was no need to mention the power of the postnatal treasure. Let me improve my strength and the 5 elements grindstone first. With a wave of his arm, the acquired spiritual treasure, Crimson Sun, and 70 to 80 other acquired spiritual treasures of the 5 elements appeared beside him. The 5 elements grindstone floated in the air and began to devour. The spiritual treasure, Scarlet Sun, which belonged to the leader of the Star River clan, was only one step away from breaking through to the level of an acquired supreme treasure. After devouring so many numinous treasures, the 5 elements great grindstone was almost guaranteed to improve. At that time, The 5 elemental grindstone would possess the combat power to kill a universe venerable. Roar. He let out a low roar, and a large amount of resources entered his abdomen and turned into dragon energy. In the dragon transformation pool of the Dragon Palace, all the members of the Dragon Palace were advancing. Beside the Dragon Palace was another Dragon Palace. At this moment, Aosia was leading a few of his subordinates in devouring. The Dragon Palace is so arrogant. They actually took away all the resources and treasures. Humph. While the Dragon Palace was being upgraded, nearly 1,000 experts were sitting in a palace of the Xinjiang clan. The leader was an expert of the horned seal race with a single horn and a long tail. To his left and right were the experts of the snake charmer race and the twin races. Within 2 days, all the reinforcements from the 3 major races had arrived. Any one of the 3 major races would be an invincible existence in the galaxy. The number of universe venerables supporting them added up to more than 1,000. One could imagine how terrifying their strength was. The most precious thing is the Dragon Palace. That is the Dragon Palace of a powerful true dragon. The woman from the Snake Charmer tribe said with a burning gaze. The Dragon Palace isn't weak. If their experts work together, they can restrain me. Furthermore, the Dragon King can restrain 2 to 3 rank for universe venerables. His speed is terrifying. The venerable golden flood dragon said solemnly and looked at the powerhouses of his race beside him. In other words, we need at least 3 rank 5 universe venerables to destroy the Dragon Palace? To be safe, for rank 5 universe venerables would be better. The horned seal race expert sitting beside the venerable golden flood dragon said faintly. 4 of them are basically enough to annihilate the entire Dragon Palace. However, the venerable golden flood dragon has obtained and acquired supreme treasure. If he refines it, he should have no problem fighting against 2 or 3 people of the same level. The eyes of the twin race's grand elder flickered as he spoke. His words caused the supremacy in the middle of the horned seal race to look at the golden WIRM supremacy in shock. That's right. An extremely powerful acquired supreme treasure. I might need some time to refine it. The venerable golden flood dragon's eyes flickered as he nodded. Congratulations, Guardian Golden Flood Dragon. An acquired supreme treasure is extremely rare. The horned seal race expert said enviously, if Guardian Golden Flood Dragon could refine an acquired supreme treasure, we wouldn't need 4 rank 5 venerables. Just the 2 of us would be enough. An acquired supreme treasure's power was enough to fight against 2 or 3 people of the same level. A powerful acquired supreme treasure was undoubtedly a terrifying trump card for them. However, acquired supreme treasures were extremely rare. To obtain one, they could only go to the chaotic continent. That's possible, but we still cannot underestimate the Dragon Palace. The venerable golden flood dragon nodded. I will refine the acquired supreme treasure during this period of time. You guys go and test the Dragon Palace's strength. Sure, make sure to be fully prepared. The other horned seal race expert, a rank 5 venerable, nodded and swept his gaze across the other 2 races. They also nodded in agreement. The horned seal race's strength was a level higher than theirs. Naturally, they would not refute the venerable golden flood dragon's opinion. At the same time, a dragon roar resounded within the Dragon King Hall of the Dragon Palace. Ding! Congratulations to host for breaking through to the 9th Order Void God Emperor. Ding! Congratulations to host for comprehending the Law Divine Dragon, True Dragon Body. Along with the system's notification, Wang Xian raised his head with excitement in his eyes. He sat cross-legged and swept his gaze across his body. Wang. With a thought, his body began to transform. The 8-colored dragon scales began to change. Gradually, 8 rays of light circulated, forming a terrifying flame, following which, the flame turned into water, water turned into golden radiance, and golden radiance turned into an earthy yellow. Name: Wang Xian Race. Yin Yang 5 Elements Divine Dragon, 1 with the Dragon, rank. 9th Order Void God Emperor, 8th Transformation of Divine Dragon Transformation, Origin Source. 1%, 99% required for the next breakthrough, Superpower. Dominate the water creatures, governs the water creatures below your level, devour living creatures to extract origin source. 5 elements control cultivation technique. Divine Dragon Transformation Superpowers, Soul Capture, Spirit. Attachment Law of Superpowers, Dragon Eyes Locking 8 Desolation, 5 Elements Dragon Claw, Yin Yang World Destruction, 8 Luminaries Dragon Scale, Saint Dragon Shadow, 8 Divisions of Heavenly Dragon, Dragon Tomb, Soaring Cloud Dragon, True Dragon Body Laws of Law Control, 5 Elements Grindstone, Dragon Country in the Palm, Dragon Head Descending, 10,000-Mile Dragon Body, Yin Yang 2 Extremes, Yin Yang 5 Elements Bowl, Divine Dragon Tail Whip. Laws of Law Control, Metal, Wood, Water, Fire, Earth, Light, Dark, Wind God Nation. Dragon Palace Own Dragon Palace. Acquired Wang Xian was full of smiles as he scanned his attributes. The attributes on his body continued to rotate. The true dragon body superpower is really strong. When it's activated, all the other attributes will be converted into one. This way, it will be easier to counter it in battle. Wang Xian murmured as his eyes shone brightly. Ka ka ka. With a slight movement, he gradually reverted to his human form. His gaze swept across the 5 Elements Grindstone. It might take some time for the 5 Elements Grindstone to improve. He moved and came to the front of the 5 Elements Grindstone to refine the spiritual treasures. As the days passed, the 5 Elements Grindstone had a breakthrough after devouring Qiang's acquired spiritual treasures. While he was still refining and absorbing the other acquired spiritual treasures, the increase in his strength had greatly increased his senses. Through his senses, he discovered that there were experts hiding in the surroundings of the Dragon Palace. They seemed to be sizing up something. Who's up to no good? The Horned Seal Race? Or? Wang Xian murmured as he disappeared in a flash. Chapter 32-21. So this is their Dragon Palace? It looks very similar to the Tianhai Dragon King. Seems like the Dragon Palace has inherited the legacy of the true dragon. Let's test the strength of the Dragon Palace. Be careful. Once the experts of the Dragon Palace come out, we'll escape. In the sky above the Dragon Palace, over 20 figures were hidden in the void. They were experts from the Horned Seal Race, Twin Race, and Sheiji Race. After flying for close to 10 days, they arrived at the Milky Way. Their main objective this time was to test the strength of the Dragon Palace. The 3 races had sent a total of 6 rank 3 universe supremacies. This wasn't a weak force. Split up and attack the 4 dragon gates of the Dragon Palace. The leader of the Horned Seal Race ordered, yes. The rest nodded as they locked their eyes on the positions of the dragon gates. Do it. The Horned Seal Race's venerable shouted and flew toward the east gate in an instant. Stop testing. Test my strength first. Just at this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in their ears, causing all of them to be slightly startled. Clatter. Just then, a series of chains bound them. No one from the 3 major races could even react in time. Who? Looking at the chains on their bodies, cold sweat broke out on their foreheads as they looked at Wang Xian in horror. Hee, why are you asking who I am when you come to our Dragon Palace? Wang Xian chuckled as his dragon eyes swept across them, revealing a demonic glow. Soul Capture. In an instant, over 20 universe supremacies from the 3 races were dazed. Summon your god nations. Wang Xian's order was heard. Yes. Wang. The strongest rank 3 universe supremacies were no match for Wang Xian. Soon, over 20 god nations appeared in the sky above the Dragon Palace. Within the Dragon Palace, the halberd dragon guards sensed the situation and flew over immediately. What's your motive for coming to the Dragon Palace? Wang Xian looked at them and asked plainly. We're here to test the strength of the Dragon Palace. The group of universe supremacies answered in unison. Test the strength of the Dragon Palace? What happens after that? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and continued asking. If the Dragon Palace isn't strong enough, we'll prepare to destroy it. They continued to respond. Destroy our Dragon Palace? Are the 3 races preparing to send experts to annihilate us? Wang Xian's eyes flickered. Yes, currently our 3 races have gathered over 1,000 universe supremacies in Star River space. Amongst them are 2 universe supremacies level 5. In order to ensure that we can destroy the Dragon Palace, our venerable golden flood dragon is currently refining a postnatal treasure. Once the refinement is complete, if the Dragon Palace doesn't have any rank 5 venerables, we can easily destroy them. The venerables of the 3 races replied, "Seems like you've decided to destroy our Dragon Palace?" Wang Xian mumbled, "How long does the Golden Wyrm need to refine the postnatal cardinal treasure? I don't know, but it will take at least a month or 2. One of the Horned Seal race's universe venerables replied. Wang Xian nodded his head slightly. He stared at the 3 third-order universe venerables and absorbed their souls. Waves of memories surged into his mind. He sealed these memories, not preparing to read them for the time being. Walala! With a gentle tug of the chain in his hand, Wang Xian annihilated them. With a wave of his hand, he threw over 20 corpses beside the dragon transformation pool. Over 20 corpses, 6 of which were third-order universe supremacies. This was a significant amount of resources. Keep these god nations for the devouring dragon to devour. Tell Prime Minister Turtle that I'm leaving for a while. This time, I might be away for a longer period of time. Wang Xian ordered the halberd dragon guards beside him. He entered the teleportation formation of the Dragon Palace and disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already at the Star River space where the heavenly dragon race used to be. Flying out of the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian read the information in his mind and headed straight for the Star River clan. If I want to annihilate the Dragon Palace, I have to strike first. Not only do I want to annihilate you, but I'm also going to the Star River encirclement, to your old nest. Even if I can't annihilate the Hornseal race, I can easily annihilate the Snake race and the Twin races. As Wang Xian flew, his eyes flashed with murderous intent. His strength had achieved a breakthrough, and the 5 elements grindstone in his hand had also upgraded. Given his current strength, he could already go to most places in the universe. This time, the Hornseal race, the Snake race, and the Twin races wanted to annihilate the Dragon Palace. This was a good time for him to make a trip to the Star River encirclement, to annihilate the Twin races and the Snake race. Strike first and gain the upper hand. A murderous intent flashed in Wang Xian's eyes as he traversed the starry sky rapidly. The unbeginning saint wings expanded, allowing his speed to reach a terrifying level. A journey that would normally take 7 to 8 days had taken him only 1 day to arrive above the colorful river of the Star River clan. As he came to the sky, Wang Xian scanned his surroundings with flickering eyes. His gaze fell on a palace and he squinted his eyes. According to the memories in his mind, the experts of the 3 races were all in this palace. The palace was huge, comparable to a planet. This was once the main sacred hall of the Star River clan. Swish! Wang Xian made a move and flew downwards at high speed. With his stealth, it was difficult for universe venerables below level 5 to detect him. Coupled with his terrifying speed, universe venerables at level 1 and level 2 couldn't even see his shadow. Dragon eyes locked. As he came to the sky above the sacred hall, Wang Xian slowly spread his arms. Numerous chains spread out in all directions in an instant. The horrifying blood-red chains covered the entire sacred hall below. His eyes flickered, and his gaze fell on the hall in the center of the hall. Over there, the Horned Seal race's first Supreme Elder and Venerable Golden Wyrm were all there. His figure flickered and instantly came to the right side of the sacred hall, concealing his figure. Boom, boom, boom. Just as he flew down, terrifying figures flew out of the temple one after another. Who's that? Their eyes were filled with solemnity and shock. In an instant, about 1,100 universe venerables floated in the sky. Kill one universe venerable first, then the rest will be easy. Seeing this, Wang Xian squinted his eyes slightly. The unbeginning saint wings flapped and instantly attacked the Horned Seal race's first Supreme Elder. Oh no! Oh no! Sensing the horrifying aura behind him, the Horned Seal race's first Supreme Elder in the sky felt his heart tighten as he quickly looked down. Your reaction is too slow. A cold voice was heard, followed by a flaming dragon claw that grabbed the Horned Seal race's first Supreme Elder. Chapter 32-22. Into the Starry Skybam. Wang Xian's dragon claw grabbed the body of the Supreme Elder of the Horned Seal race. Scram! Seeing this, the Horned Seal race's Supreme Elder's expression changed drastically. He roared with a look of horror as a giant golden hammer appeared in his hand. Wong. Arg. In the next moment, a terrifying flame force surged into his body. Fire countered metal. The supreme elder of the horned seal race turned red and trembled. Shit. Oh no, Supreme Elder. Attack him. Beside the horned seal race's first Supreme Elder, over 1,000 universe venerables saw this and their expressions changed. Their eyes were filled with horror. Unexpectedly, a person suddenly attacked from below. This made them nervous as they waved the weapons in their hands and slashed at Wang Xian. Ha ha ha. You want to destroy our dragon palace with just you? Wang Xian laughed. His figure flickered as he grabbed the body of the Supreme Elder of the horned seal race and dodged their attacks easily. No. At this moment, the Supreme Elder of the horned seal race, who was on the verge of collapse, let out a desperate cry. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept his body. What? That's the Dragon King. The Dragon King of Dragon Palace. Damn it. He actually killed the Supreme Grand Elder. Lord Protector, help. When they saw the first Supreme Elder get killed, the group of supremacies was horrified. The Supreme Elder of the Horned Seal race was a rank 5 universe venerable. He was killed by the Dragon King in an instant. How could this be? Wasn't the Dragon King only a rank 4 universe venerable? Could he have broken through? Everyone was embarrassed. The venerables of the Horned Seal race hurriedly asked for help. Their Lord Protector Golden Wyrm was refining the acquired treasure and did not come out immediately. It's your turn now. Now that a 5th Order Universe Venerable Expert had been slain, Wang Xian had nothing to worry about. The 5 Elements grindstone appeared above his head as he flapped the unbeginning saint wings and charged towards the 1,000 venerables. Attack him. Seeing Wang Xian's attack, the venerables of the 3 major races in the sky were horrified. They immediately released terrifying energy towards him. Bam bam bam. The 5 Elements grindstone spun above Wang Xian's head and blocked all the attacks with ease. Roar. Wang Xian let out a deep roar and transformed into his divine dragon form. His humongous dragon tail swept towards them. Not good. Dodge immediately. Dodge, quickly dodge. The sudden attack of the terrifying dragon tail caused everyone's faces to reveal a horrified expression. The dragon tail contained a terrifying aura that made them feel suffocated. Bam bam bam. More than 100 universe venerables couldn't dodge in time and were swept by Wang Xian's dragon tail. Their bodies flew backward and were almost dead. He is very strong. We are not his match. One of the elders of the twin races cried out in alarm as his expression changed drastically. Isn't the Dragon King a 4th Order Universe Venerable? How did it suddenly become Tier 5? And such a terrifying Type 5 expert at that? The woman from the Snake Charmer race roared with bloodshot eyes. Hee hee. People like you want to annihilate our dragon palace? Wang Xian said in disdain. He swayed his humongous dragon body and charged towards them. Clang. Dragon King, you're courting death. At this moment, a terrifying attack suddenly came from below. A resplendent crown emitted dazzling golden rays. The swords and sabers on it crossed and attacked Wang Xian. Bam! Wang Xian squinted his eyes when he saw the acquired cardinal treasure that was attacking him. Without Wang Xian's command and control, the 5 divine dragons on the 5 Elements grindstone roared furiously. The entire 5 Elements grindstone spun and turned into a terrifying flame that smashed towards the crown. Boom! A terrifying collision sound could be heard as the postnatal treasure crown fell to the ground. In this collision, the 5 Elements grindstone had the upper hand. Of course, this was also because the acquired cardinal treasure had not been fully refined. What? Below, the respected Golden Wyrm appeared. When he saw the crown falling, his expression changed drastically. Even though the acquired cardinal treasure had not been fully refined, he could still unleash some of its powers. However, he was at a disadvantage in the collision with the Dragon King's treasure. This made his eyes narrow. That's it? I'll annihilate you first. Wang Xian locked his gaze on the respected Golden Wyrm. He moved and swooped down with his dragon claws. His body slowly emitted the terrifying power of flames. The true dragon body allowed him to switch between the 8 attributes in his body at will. Under such circumstances, he could perfectly restrain his enemies. What a fast speed and terrifying aura. The Dragon King has broken through. Sensing the Dragon King swooping towards him, the respected Golden Wyrm was shocked. He could no longer sense the aura of the first Supreme Elder. In other words, the first Supreme Elder had been killed. This made his heart sink and a tinge of panic flashed in his eyes. Scram! With a jerk of his body, his entire body expanded to 1,000 meters in size. His long golden tail swept towards Wang Xian. Heske! Wang Xian extended his dragon claws and grabbed at the golden tail. Bam! The dragon claws collided with the golden tail. The 5 elements' great grindstone landed on the dragon claws rapidly and imbued it with energy. Ka. The dragon claws grabbed the long tail. Wang Xian's eyes were cold as he swung it down forcefully. Bam. The sacred hall below collapsed instantly. Wang Xian swayed his body and appeared below the respected Golden Wyrm in the next second. What a terrifying speed! The respected Golden Wyrm, who was falling, was shocked when he sensed the Dragon King below him. Divine crown protection. He let out a deep roar. The acquired cardinal treasure crown hovered above his head and shrouded his body with golden laws. It's useless. Bam. Wang Xian looked at the respected Golden Wyrm, who was shrouded in golden radiance. His dragon claws landed heavily on it. Roar! The fire divine dragon on the 5 elements' great grindstone roared and launched a terrifying fire pillar. Ka. The golden laws surrounding him cracked and collapsed gradually. No, Dragon King, stop! At this moment, the venerable golden serpent's eyes were filled with fear as he roared. Bam! Wang Xian's dragon claws penetrated the golden light defense and landed on his body. The second-rank 5 universe venerable from the Horn Seal race was dead. Gulp. This, in the sky. The remaining venerables from the 3 races were filled with fear and despair when they saw the respected Golden Wyrm being killed so quickly. Chapter 32-23. It's your turn. Wang Xian kept the corpse of the venerable Golden Wyrm and the acquired treasure into his pouch. He squinted his eyes and looked at the horrified universe supremacies from the 3 races. Run! Over 1,000 universe supremacies' eyes were filled with fear. They were so terrified that they wanted to escape. Their figures flickered, and they wanted to escape immediately. Hualala! But when their figures turned illusory, the surrounding chains shook, preventing them from returning to their own god kingdom. This caused all of them to be shocked, and their gazes swept across the blood-red chains around them. Breakthrough! A universe supremacy roared as he frantically tried to escape. Whoosh! Wang Xian waved his arm, and the 5 elements grindstone flew out. A grayish annihilation river swept towards them. The horrifying river seemed to want to annihilate everything in the world as it engulfed all of them. The experts from the 3 races were horrified. When the annihilation energy landed on them, they screamed in pain. Among the 1,000 over universe supremacies from the 3 races, the strongest was a rank 4 supremacy. Against the attack of the 5 elements grindstone, they had no way of resisting. Soon, the universe supremacies died one by one, without any signs of life. Wang Xian flew over and waved his arm, sending all the corpses back into the Dragon Palace. He did not ask them to summon their universe god kingdom over as he was afraid of alerting them. Once the 3 races were wary, it would be extremely troublesome for his next move. Let's go take a look at the continental encirclement space. If there's a chance, I'll see if I can make a trip to the heaven-opening chaotic continent, the central continent of the universe. Wang Xian murmured to himself. With a jerk of his body, he flew towards a direction at a terrifying speed. There were no teleportation arrays in the continental encirclement space. If he wanted to go there, he would have to fly. Even with his speed, he would need a few days. The continental encirclement space was just one step away from the resplendent heaven-opening chaotic continent. That was the resplendent land of the entire universe, the origin of the universe. The great desolate continent was very, very large. There were all sorts of secret realms, grotto heavens, and races. All of the spiritual chi in the universe came from the great desolate continent, which opened the heavens. One could well imagine how terrifying that place was. The continent encirclement starry sky was also incomparably huge, with countless races gathered there. The weakest were the primary races of the universe, and the strongest were the intermediate races. There were also sects and religions. Each and every one of them was a terrifying expert. According to some people's rough estimates, there were hundreds of thousands of low-level and mid-level races in the universe surrounding the continent, maybe even more. Hundreds of thousands of the weakest primary races. What kind of concept was that? Of course, the continental encirclement starry sky was also very vast. The star river space was already very big. There were 50 to 60 elementary races in the universe. However, the star river starry sky was nothing compared to the continent encirclement starry sky. However, as an invincible rank 5 universe venerable, I can be considered an expert in the continental encirclement galaxy, Wang Xian murmured with a smile on his face. As he absorbed the memories in his mind, he flew through the starry sky. Although there were many powerful races in the continental encirclement starry sky, the truly powerful forces had already set foot on the great wilderness continent. Over there, a mid-level race with a universe venerable level 6 powerhouse would be able to attempt to land. If one had the strength of a universe venerable level 7, there was basically an 80% chance of ascending to the chaotic continent and establishing a clan there. Of course, this also depended on where you chose to log in. There were countless grotto heavens and blessed lands in the great desolate continent, and they were also divided into various grades. The stronger grotto heavens and blessed lands had more powers fighting over them. For instance, the Snake Princess race and the Twin races were situated at the periphery of the planar encirclement cosmos. The strength of the Horned Seal race could only be considered average in the continent encircling starry sky. The Snake Charmer race is easy to exterminate, and so is the Twin race. Only the Horned Seal race might be a little difficult, or even impossible to exterminate. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he shuttled through the starry sky. Time passed day by day. On the third day, the surrounding starry sky underwent earth-shattering changes. Wang Xian looked at his surroundings with astonishment in his eyes. From time to time, huge warships could be seen shuttling through the void in the surrounding starry sky. There were also ships that looked like ancient sailing ships traversing the void. Wang Xian even saw a dragon boat-like aircraft roaming in the starry sky. There were all sorts of large flying artifacts. He looked at the bustling starry sky and was shocked. In the Milky Way and galaxy starry sky, he had never seen such a dazzling scene. All sorts of flying artifacts could be seen everywhere. Other than these aircraft, he could also see all sorts of powerful demonic beasts and dire beasts as mounts. His eyes sparkled. Such a bustling starry sky, such a dazzling starry sky. Some of the flying artifacts are even postnatal spiritual treasures. Moreover, based on my senses, there are no less than 10 venerables in the surrounding universe. He mumbled to himself. This could be said to be the center of the universe. There were hundreds of thousands of powerful races and billions of living beings. The number of experts was naturally terrifying. Wang Xian continued flying. An hour later, he heard a roar coming from ahead. He saw dozens of warships and spaceships quickly making way for him. Everyone, make way. Please forgive us if we have offended you. Hurry, 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 catch it. Don't let it escape. Dragon scale chain. A delicate voice was heard, following which, Wang Xian sensed a savage aura rushing towards him. He looked over and was slightly taken aback. In front of him, a terrifying beast of 100,000 meters in size was flying towards him. The beast was somewhat similar to a sea turtle, but completely different. It had a few heads. Wang Xian could see 5 of them in his line of sight. It was a giant beast of the starry sky. What shocked him even more was that dozens of divine dragons were swaying their huge bodies around the giant beast of the starry sky. They were using huge nets and chains to capture the giant beast of the starry sky. Except for one of them, the rest are not purebred divine dragons. However, they are still very powerful dragons. I didn't expect to see experts of the divine dragon lineage the moment I stepped into this starry sky. Wang Xian swept his gaze over and was astonished. Giant beast of the starry sky, purebred water divine dragon. The continental starry sky really surprised him. It's people from the water dragon palace. They are actually hunting that 10-headed giant beast of the starry sky. Experts from the water dragon palace. SSS, they are too powerful. They are very likely to capture that 10-headed giant beast of the starry sky. Exclamations came from not far away from Wang Xian. Chapter 32-24. In the boundless starry sky, 100,000-meter-long giant star beast was struggling to escape. It had 10 heads and a huge body, exuding a primordial aura. More than 10 divine dragons besieged it, trying to capture it. This shocked the people on the surrounding battleships and spaceships. The Scarlet Dragon 10-headed star beast was a very powerful existence. Judging from its aura, it had the strength of a rank 3 or rank for universe supremacy. However, the experts from Water Dragon Palace surrounding it were not weak either. A few of them had at least the combat power of a rank for universe supremacy. Especially the Water Divine Dragon. It was the strongest. Blue chains completely bound the Scarlet Dragon's 10-headed giant star beast, and a huge net formed by the law of water trapped it. The ferocious 10-headed giant star beast shook its huge body and struggled with all its might. "Beast, behave yourself." A delicate voice continued to ring out. A water divine dragon swayed her gigantic body and flew directly above the Scarlet Dragon 10-headed astral beast. Her body shook and water pillars rained down from the sky, blasting towards the Scarlet Dragon 10-headed astral beast. The Scarlet Dragon 10-headed star beast was in pain and shook its body frantically. Earth attribute law power vibrated in the surroundings. "Watch out!" One of the divine dragon species roared loudly, and they hurriedly tried to defend themselves. A few of the weaker members of the Water Dragon Palace couldn't help but fly backwards. At this moment, the Scarlet Dragon 10-headed star beast let out another violent roar. This roar was incomparably dull, making one feel abnormally uncomfortable. 100-meter round ball was spat out from the 10 dragon heads. "Watch out, it's a black meteorite. Its attack power is terrifying." A cry was heard as the Water Divine Dragon in the sky warned. "Watch out." 10 black meteorites that looked like black holes attacked the 10 members of Water Dragon Palace. Huh. Wang Xian, who was standing at the side, raised his eyebrows when he saw the black meteorites and a dragon flying in his direction. Based on his calculations, the dragon in front of him would not be able to dodge this attack. Given the terrifying attack of this astral behemoth, this dragon species would most likely perish. "Shui Yun, be careful. Dodge." A few other dragons exclaimed as they quickly flew towards him. The dragon species' expression changed drastically when it saw the incoming black meteor. Crash! Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. He hesitated for a moment before flapping his unbeginning sacred wings and arriving beside the Water Divine Dragon in an instant. His arm turned into a dragon claw and pulled him to the side. Boom! An incomparably terrifying black meteor shot out from the side. What a powerful attack! As expected of a giant star beast. When Wang Xian sensed the terrifying energy coming from the black meteorite, he was shocked. The astral beasts were colossal beings in the universe. Every one of them had terrifying strength when they grew up. It was basically impossible for someone of the same level to suppress a star behemoth. Even an expert would find it extremely difficult to suppress a giant star beast. This giant star beast was still able to fight back despite being besieged by over a dozen powerful dragons. One could imagine how terrifying its strength was. However, this savage dragon, 10-headed giant star beast was still incomparable to Lil Lan. Currently, Lil Lan had the combat power of a rank 4 universe venerable. Their size had already reached 1,000 kilometers. In the later stages, Lil Lan's size was comparable to a star. "Thank you for your help, sir." The experts from the Water Dragon Palace who were saved by Wang Xian looked relieved that they had just survived a disaster. He quickly thanked Wang Xian. "You're welcome. It's nothing." Wang Xian shook his head and retracted his dragon claw. "Huh, sir. Are you also a member of the divine dragon lineage? When the expert from Water Dragon Palace saw Wang Xian's palm, he was shocked. He could sense the might of the divine dragon on the dragon claw. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. Thank you for your help. The Water Dragon Palace is extremely grateful. Above the savage dragon, 10-headed giant star beast, the water divine dragon thanked Wang Xian. She held a huge water rope in her hand that bound the 10 heads of the savage dragon, 10-headed giant star beast. Wang Xian watched from the side. He knew a little about the Water Dragon Palace from the universe AI. Before the rise of the Dragon Palace, there were 9 famous divine dragon lineages in the universe. The weakest was the heavenly dragon lineage. The rest of the divine dragon lineage had all reached the level of a mid-level race in the universe. As for the Water Dragon Palace, it was neither strong nor weak among the other 8 forces of the divine dragon lineage. The strongest divine dragon lineage called themselves the ancestral dragon lineage. They had already entered the chaotic continent and entered the ranks of the high-level races in the universe. Wang Xian was very curious about these forces of the divine dragon lineage. At present, there were not many purebred divine dragons in the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace did not have the water divine dragon in front of him. According to the information on the AI, the strongest of the water divine dragon lineage seems to be a rank 5 universe venerable. Wang Xian murmured. Boom. At this moment, the 10-headed ferocious dragon star beast let out a painful cry. Its body was also riddled with wounds. It could be seen that the entanglement between the Water Dragon Palace and this giant star beast was not just a day or two. It's going to be suppressed. Wang Xian murmured as he saw the savage dragon 10-headed giant star beast lowering its head slowly. Success. At the side, the Water Dragon Palace dragon species that was similar to the Water Divine Dragon, but with completely different dragon heads revealed an excited look when it saw this. Sir, you saved my life. This is for you. You are welcome to visit our Water Dragon Palace in the future. I'll go help to subdue this giant star beast first. He spoke to Wang Xian respectfully. He opened his mouth and spat out a water dragon pearl before flying towards the savage dragon 10-headed giant star beast excitedly. Huh. Wang Xian looked at the dragon pearl, raised his eyebrows, and revealed a smile. A rank 2 universe venerable water dragon pearl. Although it was not the dragon pearl of a purebred divine dragon, it was still pretty good. I can go to the Water Dragon Palace to take a look, Wang Xian murmured. He was also curious about the other divine dragon lineages. The Water Dragon Palace had purebred divine dragons. They must have obtained great opportunities and divine dragon legacies. Wang Xian did not continue watching as they suppressed the savage dragon 10-headed giant star beast with all their might. He moved his body and continued to move forward. The main purpose of this trip was to the 3 major races. The unbeginning sacred wings flapped, and he shuttled through the starry sky at a terrifying speed. The first target was the twin races. Chapter 32-25. Wang. Whoosh. The unbeginning saint wings flapped, and Wang Xian shuttled rapidly through the continental encirclement starry sky. A day later, he came to a planet. This starry sky was very strange. The planets are all connected in 2. There were green trees growing in the void. These green trees were also connected in pairs. Even the humongous sun in the center was connected in 2. This was a very special starry sky. It was also this special starry sky that created a mid-level race, the twin race. Although the twin race wasn't very strong in the continental encirclement starry sky, they still had a foundation of billions of years. There were many disciples of the twin race, and the entire void was the territory of the twin race. Just the number of planets occupied by the twin race alone was over 1 million. The number of the twin race had also reached a terrifying level. This special space had created this special race. It's true that different places raise different people. When Wang Xian came to this starry sky, he could feel a special and mysterious energy in this space. This kind of energy would have some effect on a person. Someone on the AI called this the twin race territory. Seems like it's true. As Wang Xian spoke, he squinted his eyes and flew towards the main planet of the twin race according to his memory. The main planet of the twin race was very special. Ordinary planets were physical. However, The starry sky of the twin race was like a hornet's nest, densely packed. From afar, it was a shocking sight. The experts of the twin race lived in this hornet's nest. According to my memory, this planet is the ultimate treasure of the twin race. The entire planet contains terrifying wind-attributed energy. The closer I get to the center, the more experts there are of the twin race. Wang Xian swept his gaze across. This was the first time he dashed into the territory of a mid-level race in the universe. He had to be cautious. After all, it was a low-level race in the universe. He moved and his body began to turn illusory as he flew straight into the palace. The twin race could be sure that they didn't have any rank 5 universe supremacies. This made Wang Xian's infiltration very smooth. With his concealment abilities, only rank 5 venerables or above would be able to sense him. It was located at the core of the twin race's planet. It was also the largest cave in the center. After Wang Xian entered, he immediately sensed the intense law of wind energy. The height of the entire cave entrance was only 1,000 kilometers. If one looked up from below, they would be able to see the green energy. In the sky, there were also some trees and plants with the wind attribute. The sight of grass and trees above his head was indeed a little strange. But the interior was very beautiful. Wang Xian flapped his wings and flew inside quickly. The vegetation in the sky gave him the best cover. As they flew in, they soon saw the palaces inside. The palaces were arranged in a row, and at a glance, they were exceptionally luxurious. It's about time. We can start now. When he was about to reach the center, Wang Xian's eyes flickered. He took out the 5 elements grindstone and moved his palm. The fire divine dragon slowly appeared above the grindstone. First, lure all the experts from the twin races over. Murmuring, he waved his arm and the 5 elements grindstone flew forward. In the next instant, a roar reverberated throughout the interior of the planet. A fire divine dragon swayed its huge body and roared furiously. The might of the fire divine dragon wasn't very strong. It was only comparable to a rank 4 universe venerable. However, with the support of the 5 elements grindstone, the fire divine dragon's recovery and endurance had reached a terrifying level. Boom! Under Wang Xian's control, the fire divine dragon lifted its head and launched a ball of terrifying flames at the palaces ahead. What? What happened? Divine dragon? Fire divine dragon? Why did a divine dragon suddenly appear in our twin races? Beast! Quick! Kill him! This was the core of the entire twin race, and also the place where countless experts of the twin race lived. When an inferno divine dragon suddenly appeared in their midst, the faces of all the experts from the twin races changed drastically. One by one, the universe venerables attacked the fire divine dragon. The fire divine dragon swayed its huge body and sent waves of terrifying flames towards the universe venerables. Oh no, this divine dragon is very strong. Why did such a divine dragon suddenly appear here? What the hell is going on? The group of universe venerables was shocked as they roared. Bam bam bam. In the sky above, the 30,000-meter-long fire divine dragon swept its tail towards the dozen universe venerables. Quick! Dodge! Dodge! The expressions of the 10 twin race universe venerables changed. Bam bam bam. However, there were still 5 to 6 universe venerables who were swept away and died instantly. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this time, the sound of wind whistling reverberated throughout the entire planet. What happened? Highest alert. Enemy invasion. Who dares to invade our twin race? At the other cave entrances as well as in front and behind, many universe venerables of the twin races charged over. When they saw the towering flames of the fire divine dragon, their expressions changed. Why did a fire divine dragon suddenly appear in our territory? An old man with a wrinkled face, who was holding a 2-meter-long green tree in his hand, frowned slightly and asked with a grave expression, "Patriarch, we don't know either. This fire divine dragon suddenly appeared in the sky above us. Moreover, it looks exactly the same as the legendary divine dragon. It should be a pure-blooded divine dragon." A two-faced old man flew over and said with a grave expression, "Send people to guard the surroundings. Surround and kill this fire divine dragon first. The twin race patriarch ordered with a stern expression. Yes, patriarch. Kill this fire divine dragon. The old man roared and ordered the surrounding venerables. Yes, supreme elder. The universe venerables responded immediately. In an instant, 700 to 800 universe venerables attacked the fire divine dragon. Around them, the twin race patriarch gestured to the group of experts and started scanning the surroundings. With the sudden appearance of a fire divine dragon, they had to be vigilant to see if there were any accomplices or conspiracies. I wonder if I can annihilate the twin race just by relying on the 5 elements grind. Wang Xian hid in a corner and stared coldly at the battle in front of him. He had only ordered one divine dragon from the 5 elements grind to fight in order to attract all the experts from the twin race over. Chapter 32-26. On the twin race's main planet, the fire divine dragon was wreaking havoc. That massive 30,000-meter-long body emitted terrifying flames in this narrow space. In the face of the terrifying flames, the shrine below collapsed piece by piece. Even the ground started to crack. Stop him. Don't let him destroy our planet. The few rank 4 venerables of the twin races roared with ugly expressions. They had over a dozen rank 4 supremacies and 700 to 800 other supremacies, yet they were unable to destroy the fire divine dragon. This made them extremely embarrassed. Not only that, more than a dozen supremacies were killed by the fire divine dragon's attack. Activate the wind array and destroy this beast for me. The twin race leader looked at the battlefield ahead and bellowed with a dark face. Yes, race leader. At the side, several venerables immediately responded. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the next instant, a green light flashed across the entire space. Several terrifying wind swords formed. Bind. In the center, a rank 4 venerable shouted when he saw the array activating. Wind gods bind. Wind gods bind. Earth net heavens bind. Cold roars reverberated in the air as wind chains and wind bindings flew towards the fire divine dragon to restrain it. There should be over 1,300 supremacies from the twin races. Only over 800 are here. That's not enough. We need the fire divine dragon to hold on a little longer. Wang Xian muttered as he saw the other party using the power of the array. At this moment, the 5 elements grindstone at the core of the fire divine dragon began to operate. The entire fire divine dragon emitted an even more terrifying aura. Those flames turned into flaming divine swords and charged towards the surrounding wind swords. Bam, bam, bam. An intense collision could be heard, causing the expressions of the twin races to change drastically. Oh no, the fire divine dragon is going berserk. The expressions of the dozen rank 4 venerables from the twin races changed drastically. At this moment, the Inferno divine dragon raised its head again, and a terrifying sun appeared in the sky above it. Ka ka ka. The appearance of the sun caused cracks to appear in the sky above the twin races. This was the power of the acquired spiritual treasure, Scarlet Sunday. When Qiyang appeared, the destructive power of the fire divine dragon had already reached the level of a 5th-order universe venerable. Damn it, kill. Seeing this, the expression of the twin tribe leader changed slightly. He waved the small tree in his hand. The small trees emitted green energy. The wind elemental small trees seemed to be whipping the starry sky as they attacked Qiyang. Boom! An incomparably terrifying collision sound resounded. A large number of universe paragons were sent flying backwards. The fire divine dragon swayed its huge body and attacked the group of supremacies. Not good. The expressions of the universe venerables changed slightly. Boom! In the next moment, the flames engulfed them, and their corpses fell to the ground. Activate the power of the wind star. At the sight of this, the faces of the twin race leaders changed once more. He swung the green tree in his hand upwards. Ka ka ka. The entire planet seemed to be revolving as countless wind elemental laws began to condense. The vast wind elemental laws pressed towards the fire divine dragon. Kill this beast. The surrounding group of universe venerables roared with bloodshot eyes. Since the start of the battle, over 200 supremacies had rushed over after receiving the news. The surrounding twin race supremacies numbered over 900. Indeed a mid-tier race. Such a terrifying attack can defeat an ordinary fifth-order universe venerable. At this moment, Wang Xian, who had been hiding at the side, saw this attack and mumbled, "It's about time." Wang Xian was already very satisfied to be able to gather over 900 supremacies. After all, many supremacies might be cultivating in their own god kingdom or on other planets. Gathering more than 900 universe venerables should be the current limit. If not for the twin race's wind star being attacked, there might not be so many supremacies coming over. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, Wang Xian felt a terrifying wind elemental law power coming from the entire planet. A huge sword formed from the wind elemental law power, as though it was splitting the entire planet apart, struck towards the fire divine dragon. Terrifying sounds of collision rang out continuously. The fire divine dragon's body slowly crumbled. Bam! Finally, the sound of metal colliding resounded. The 100-meter 5 elements grindstone appeared in front of everyone. What's this? This is? An acquired treasure? What grade is this treasure? How could it be a treasure? When the twin race supremacies saw the 5 elements grindstone revealed after the fire divine dragon crumbled, they were all shocked. The patriarch of the twin race was also slightly taken aback, following which a fervent look flashed in his eyes. Acquired treasure? Why would an acquired treasure suddenly appear here? He mumbled, then bellowed, "Suppress and subdue it." Yes, the surrounding venerables immediately responded, their eyes burning with excitement. Not bad, not bad. To be able to defeat my weapon, the twin race is indeed strong. At this moment, a voice rang out, causing the 900-odd supremacies surrounding the 5 elements grindstone to be slightly shocked. Their bodies trembled, and their eyes were filled with shock. Who is it? The patriarch of the twin race's forehead was filled with cold sweat. He immediately turned around and looked behind him. Hee. Wang Xian chuckled, flapped his unbeginning sacred wings, and flew over slowly. Who are you? The patriarch of the twin race stared at Wang Xian, feeling his scalp tingling. They had used almost all their strength to deal with his weapon? What about his strength? Don't the twin race know who I am? Didn't you guys want to annihilate us? Wang Xian swept his gaze across them, his face filled with mockery. Her. The patriarch of the twin race's expression changed. Today, all of you from the twin race have to die. Wang Xian did not give them too much explanation. With killing intent in his eyes, he swung his arm and the 5 elements grindstone flew towards him. Walala! At this moment, chains spread out in all directions, locking all of them within. From today onwards, there will be no twin race. With a loud roar, he transformed into his divine dragon form and attacked them. You're from the Dragon Palace? Chapter 32-27. It's too late now. Wang Xian stared at the experts from the twin races with a cold look in his eyes. Roar, roar. He let out an angry roar as he swayed his massive divine dragon body and attacked the experts from the twin races. The dragon scales on his body glowed brilliantly as he transformed into a terrifying fire divine dragon that swept towards them. Oh no! All the experts from the twin races, block it! At the sight of this, the patriarch of the twin races let out a horrified expression as he screamed out in horror. The fire divine dragon that they had paid a huge price to defeat was merely a treasure of the Dragon King. Now that the Dragon King was attacking personally, how terrifying would it be? His expression changed drastically as he scanned the surrounding chains. With a swift move, he did not surround Wang Xian. Instead, he charged towards the blood-red chains. He could feel a strange energy from the chains. This energy could prevent them from escaping in an instant. Swish. Then, when he attacked the chains, the 5 elements grindstone attacked him directly. The 5 elements grindstone spun with terrifying might. This might wasn't something that the leader of the twin races could withstand. Wang, sensing the might of the 5 elements grindstone, he was appalled. Just now, the twin races had to send over a dozen 4th-order supremacies to suppress it. Now, he was no match for it. The green tree in his hand swayed with the green power of laws as it clashed with the 5 elements grindstone. However, a fire divine dragon emerged from the five elements grindstone all of a sudden. The fire divine dragon lifted its massive head and attacked the green tree. Kaka, the small tree, which was an acquired spiritual treasure, was sent flying instantly. The leaves on it were slightly withered as the horrifying power continued to attack the leader of the twin races. No. Sensing the might of the five elements grindstone, the leader of the twin races was in despair. After a shriek, his body was engulfed by the five elements grindstone, and he lost all signs of life. Leader! Leader! Everyone in the sky heard the clan leader's screams, and their faces were filled with shock. Dragon tomb. Suppress. Wang Xian swept his gaze across with a cold look in his eyes. With a wave of his dragon claws, a humongous dragon tomb appeared below. Above them, the coffin lid of the dragon's tomb pressed down on all of them. A terrifying suction force came from the dragon tomb. Not good, Dodge. We're no match for him. Run, 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 run. We'll take revenge for our brothers in the future. Terrified voices rang out from the surroundings. The death of the patriarch had caused them to lose all their will to fight. They also knew that they were no match for the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. The entire twin races were no match for the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. One by one, they moved and quickly fled in all directions. However, under the attack of the Dragon Tomb, more than 300 universe venerables were instantly suppressed. Trying to escape? None of you will be able to escape. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the surroundings with contempt in his eyes. Gathering all of them here was to catch all of them in one fell swoop. Dragon eyes lock everywhere. Lock. Five elements grindstone. River of annihilation. Wang Xian let out a deep roar as the dense chains around him began to shrink. The five divine dragons on the five elements grindstone lifted their heads and spat out five types of elemental laws. The five elemental laws intertwined and formed a grayish river of annihilation. The river of annihilation engulfed all the experts of the twin races. No. Under the terrifying attack of annihilation, the experts of the twin races screamed in despair. Bam, bam, bam. Corpses fell to the ground one by one. After more than 10 seconds, more than 900 universe venerables were all dead. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and revealed a smile. Wang. He waved his palm, and an altar appeared in front of him. Enlai, bring sky formation over. With a thought, a voice sounded from the Dragon Palace. Yes, Dragon King. Within the Dragon Palace, Enlai nodded his head respectfully. 10 seconds later, sky formation and the rest appeared in front of him. Collect all these corpses. Sky formation. Check if their universe god nation is in the vicinity. Wang Xian immediately ordered them. Yes, Dragon King. Sky formation looked around with excitement in his eyes. Dragon King, with so many corpses, our Dragon Palace can have a few more rank 5 universe venerables. You can improve first. Also, let Xiaolan and the rest improve too. Wang Xian said. Xiaolan, Xiao Zhai and the rest had incredible combat strength. Their improvement would be of great help to the Dragon Palace. Moreover, it would be better to have a huge war beast to travel through the starry sky. Xiaolan and Xiao Zhai were just right. Yes, Dragon King. Sky Formation nodded his head and immediately used his array to search for the god nations of those universe venerables. Enlai scanned the surroundings and started searching for treasures. Currently, Enlai only had the combat strength of a rank 3 Void God Emperor. He was considered the weakest in the Dragon Palace. Although his ability was more incredible, it was not of much use to the Dragon Palace. It was a pity that he had yet to find any Devil Soul altar for him to improve his combat strength. Wang Xian floated in the surroundings and searched for treasures. All 5 elemental acquired spiritual treasures were absorbed by the 5 elements grindstone. If he encountered any light and darkness attribute treasures, he was considering if he should create a stronger yin-yang dragon board. Currently, the yin-yang dragon board that relied on his own energy was of little value. Time passed. What happened on the planet of the twin races had caused a huge uproar in the twin races. Countless members of the twin races rushed over and surrounded the planet. Looking at their home planet, the group of people revealed looks of horror in their eyes. Looking from the outside, the entire planet was in chaos. The auras of the experts in their race had all disappeared. Inside, there were still terrifying shockwaves from the battle. Even peak Void God Emperor experts did not dare to get close to it. What happened within the twin races? More and more experts gathered around and roared in shock. Hong hong hong. However, 2 days later, the entire planet suddenly collapsed, breaking into pieces and flying into the surrounding void. From today onwards, there will be no more twin races. If the twin races dare to establish a race again, we will continue to annihilate them. A cold voice reverberated in the void. Around them, the experts of the twin races shuddered, and their faces were filled with shock. Who is it? How can our twin races be annihilated? Who dares to speak such nonsense? The faces of the elite disciples of the twin races, who had been surrounding the area and had not dared to enter, changed drastically when they heard this. They shouted in disbelief. Hong. However, in the next moment, a huge and terrifying flaming dragon claw descended from the sky and covered the elite disciples of the twin races. Chapter 32:28. Boom. Around the twin races' main planet, terrifying dragon claws descended from the sky towards the experts of the twin races. Oh no, run. No. Most of the elite disciples of the twin races were gathered around this area. 80% of them were fifth-order God Emperors and above. There were hundreds of thousands of them. When the terrifying dragon claws descended, the elite disciples of the twin races were shocked. Bam! The dragon claws descended and covered all of them. Wong. A huge net swept towards them and collected all the corpses. In the sky, Wang Xian stood on the five elements' great grindstone and flew away at a terrifying speed. 80% of the universe venerables of the twin races had been wiped out. What awaited them next was death. Next target, the Sheiji race. The Snake Princess race has a lot of universe supremacies, a total of over 2,000, more than the twin races. If we were to wipe them out, then Dragon Palace's rise this time would be terrifying. Wang Xian murmured. Currently, there were more than 1,000 experts in Dragon Palace. In addition to the resources this time, there would be more than 3,000. Moreover, Dragon Palace could add about 4 more rank 5 universe venerables. After Dragon Palace improves, I can wipe out the Horned Seal race. Wang Xian's lips curved into a smile as he flew in the direction of the Sheiji tribe. The Sheiji race was not far from here, but it would take about a day to reach. Sitting on the five elements' great grindstone, he took out the intelligence system. When he turned on the intelligence system, he saw that the news of the twin races being wiped out had already spread. The twin races were not strong, but they were not weak either. After all, they were a mid-tier race in the universe. Now that they had been wiped out, it caused quite a commotion in the continental encirclement's starry sky. However, the commotion was not as big as Wang Xian had imagined. The continental encirclement starry sky was a very dangerous and cruel starry sky. Taking the disembarking battle as an example, to ascend to the chaotic continent, one had to defeat the other race. Wars of this level were usually wars of annihilation. Moreover, once a small race provoked a strong enemy, they might be wiped out. However, it was not as cruel as he had imagined. Even if it was a primary race in the universe, it still had quite a bit of deterrence. The moment you exterminate a race and let a few universe venerables escape, then if these universe venerables want to take revenge and kill your race's ordinary disciples, you won't be able to do anything. Therefore, exterminating a race was a rather serious matter for any race. Time passed slowly. A day later, when Wang Xian arrived at the Sheiji tribe, he was taken aback. The Snake Charmers were different from the twin races. The Snake Charmers possessed a powerful bloodline power, allowing them to fight above their level. Their bloodline was more noble than that of the twin races. Therefore, the Snake Charmer clan did not have many clansmen, probably only tens of billions. But now, according to the memories in his mind, he did not discover any members of the Sheiji clan when he came to the territory of the Sheiji clan. There were no traces of the Sheiji clan in the cosmos where they originally lived. What's going on? Could it be that the Snake Charms knew that I was coming to destroy them? Did he escape? Wang Xian frowned slightly as he scanned the surroundings. He flew straight towards a spaceship. This was a flying device similar to a dragon boat, with some people moving around on it. Wang Xian came to the front of the flying dragon boat. With a jolt of his aura, the horrifying energy stopped the dragon boat. Let me ask you guys something. Where did the snake charms go? Wang Xian's aura swept across, shocking everyone on the dragon boat. Their faces were filled with fear. Sir, we aren't too sure. It seems like they have moved to the horn seal race. I've just heard about it. An old man bowed and said respectfully, Huh. Wang Xian raised an eyebrow as his eyes flickered. He waved his arm and the dragon boat continued moving forward. That sir has terrifying strength. Yeah, he can stop our dragon boat with a wave of his hand. He must be at least a rank 3 universe venerable. Everyone on the dragon boat heaved a sigh of relief as they commented softly. Sure enough, the snake charms got some news and moved to the horn seal race. The horn seal race is not weak now, especially in their base camp. It's impossible to wipe out the twin races like we did to them. Wang Xian frowned slightly. Now that he had entered the base camp of the horn seal race, he wasn't even confident of killing his way out, let alone wiping them out. He floated in the air with a pensive look on his face. Go back now, or I'll make a trip to the Water Dragon Palace. The reputation of the Water Dragon Palace is pretty good. I'll go take a look at the power of the divine dragon lineage. He made up his mind. This time, he rushed over to wipe out the 3 races. He also wanted to go to the chaotic continent to take a look. However, since he came across the Water Dragon Palace, he could go take a look. With a flick of his palm, Wang Xian took out the Water Dragon Pearl. The Water Dragon Pearl was a gift from the Flood Dragon that he had saved. This Water Dragon Pearl was a treasure that the Flood Dragon had cultivated for a long time. It was connected to his bloodline. Of course, he could also refine this Water Dragon Pearl into his own treasure. The Water Dragon Pearl had one ability, and that was to transmit sound. Holding this Water Dragon Pearl, he could contact that Flood Dragon. Let's go take a look. As Wang Xian spoke, he injected a trace of energy into it. There was no Water Divine Dragon in the Dragon Palace. During the peak of the Divine Dragon lineage, the strongest was a Water Divine Dragon, a terrifying existence at the creation level of Heavenly Yuan. This Water Dragon was stronger than the 5 Elements Dragon King and Yin Yang Dragon King back then. Wang, Benefactor, what can I do for you? Soon, a virtual image of a Flood Dragon was formed above the Water Dragon Pearl. He looked at Wang Xian respectfully and bowed. Nothing much. I just want to take a look at the Water Dragon Palace. Wang Xian said, Welcome, welcome. Benefactor, you can follow the guidance of the Water Dragon Pearl and be a guest in our Water Dragon Palace. The virtual image of the Flood Dragon said to Wang Xian enthusiastically. All right. Wang Xian nodded. Soon, there was a message on the Water Dragon Pearl. He followed this message and immediately flew towards the Water Dragon Palace. Shui Yun, who is contacting you? At this very moment, he was in a vast continental ocean shrouded in clouds and mist. In the majestic underwater dragon palace, thousands of experts from the Water Dragon Palace in human form with 2 horns on their heads gathered. Seeing that Shui Yun was contacting someone, an old man asked doubtfully, Elder, it's the person who saved me. He said he's coming to the Water Dragon Palace. Shui Yun replied immediately, Huh, the expert with the bloodline of the Divine Dragon? He's coming to our Water Dragon Palace at this time? The elder of the Water Dragon Palace frowned slightly. Chapter 32:29. Elder, are you saying that he might be a hidden expert of the Fire God Palace who contacted us on purpose? In the Dragon King Hall of the Water Dragon Palace, a middle-aged expert of the Water Dragon Palace asked an elder, It's highly possible. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? He happened to appear there and saved Shui Yun. Not long after he left, we were attacked by the Fire Dragon Palace. Everything is too coincidental. What's more, he's coming to our Water Dragon Palace now. The Water Dragon Palace elder nodded slightly. No way. Shui Yun's expression changed slightly. Then, should we still let him come? Everything is just a guess. Let him come. He won't be able to do anything when he enters the Water Dragon Palace. The Fire Dragon Palace stole the ferocious dragon 10 heads this time and severely injured Linglong. I must take revenge and make them pay a heavy price. A burly middle-aged man and a woman sat on the dragon throne at the front of the Dragon King Hall. Both of them had dragon horns on their heads and looked dignified. Recently, the Fire Dragon Palace and the demonic dragon lineage have been very close. We have to be careful. They planned this attack. As soon as the middle-aged man finished his words, the woman looked down. Westwater Tribe, send people to guard the surroundings of our dragon palace. Water Hidden Tribe, go and investigate the situation of the Fire Dragon Palace and the demonic dragon lineage. Yes, Dragon Queen. Below, the two old men immediately responded respectfully. Dragon Queen, Dragon King. They dared to attack the princess and the rest. We, the Water Dragon Palace, are not pushovers. I suggest we send people to assassinate their clansmen and kill every one of them we see. An old man with a broken horn on his head bowed and said in an awe-inspiring tone, "That's right. Our princess is seriously injured. We can't let this go." The old woman echoed, her face full of anger. "We have to think about this at length." The Dragon Queen pondered for a moment and shook her head. If the Water Dragon Palace and the demonic dragon lineage really join forces, we won't be their match. The development of the two clans has reached a bottleneck. If they want to increase their strength quickly and enter the chaotic continent, they have to think of other ways. They might have their eyes on us. Watching us? Aren't they afraid of going for wool and coming home shorn? The Water Dragon King said murderously. Shui Yun, if that expert from the Divine Dragon bloodline wants to come, bring him in. I'll personally monitor him. The Dragon Queen said indifferently. It's the Dragon Queen. Shui Yun nodded respectfully. Obviously, the Dragon Queen had quite a bit of authority in the Water Dragon Palace. Let's go, husband. Let's go and see Linglong. The Dragon Queen stood up slowly and walked towards the back. Order all members of the Water Dragon Palace to return to the Dragon Palace and be on high alert. Soon, an order was given. Tisk, TSK, TSK. Your demonic dragon's dark world is really strange. It's not inferior to the Dragon Palace at all. At the same time, in a dark void, an enormous fire divine dragon swayed its illusory body and looked around. Hee, Fire Dragon Lord, my demonic dragon's dark world was modified by a powerful demonic dragon senior. It's of the same nature as the Dragon Palace. Isn't it much stronger than your Fire Dragon Palace? In front of the illusory fire divine dragon, a middle-aged man with dragon claws and a dragon tail floated in front of the illusory fire divine dragon and said with a faint smile, "There's still a gap between you and our Fire Dragon Palace and the Water Dragon Palace." The illusory fire divine dragon shook its head indifferently. Fire Dragon King, have you found a way to break into the Water Dragon Palace? If we can't break into the Water Dragon Palace, everything will be in vain. The middle-aged man with dragon claws and a dragon tail snorted and asked, "Don't worry, the preparations are almost complete. There won't be any problems. When the time comes, we'll still need your demonic dragon's dark world to cover us." The Fire Divine Dragon said confidently, "All right, when do we start?" The middle-aged man with dragon claws and a dragon tail nodded and continued to ask, "We have to weaken their strength. Otherwise, even if we can destroy them, we'll suffer a great loss. This time, this Dragon Lord is here for this matter." The Fire Divine Dragon said indifferently. With a gentle swipe of its dragon claws, a star map appeared in front of them. There were a few words on the star map: Dragon Eagle, Ghost Dragon, Fire Cloud, Netherclaw. If it was an expert of the continental starry sky, he would definitely know what these words meant. About 10 days, this continental starry sky is really vast. In a void of the continental starry sky, Wang Xian flew quickly. However, according to his investigation, it would take him 10 days to fly from here to the Water Dragon Palace. His speed was already comparable to a rank 6 universe venerable. One could imagine how far this distance was. If Xiaolan and the others are here, we might be able to travel faster, he murmured. Xiaolan's black hole shuttling was much stronger than his teleportation. It could almost instantly cross an ultra-long distance. However, to the universe, 10 days was not even the blink of an eye. As the days passed, he saw all kinds of spaceships in the starry sky. He also saw terrifying mechas. As a result, he didn't feel bored at all during the journey. I'm almost there. 10 days passed quickly. Wang Xian looked ahead, his eyes sparkling. It was a continent shrouded in clouds. The entire continent was incomparably vast. The faintly discernible continent was like a fairyland. That was the base camp of the Water Dragon Palace, the Water Dragon Continent. According to his understanding from the universe AI, there were tens of millions of Yalong dragons and members in the Water Dragon Palace. Among them, there were about 5,000 universe venerables. The Water Dragon Palace was not weak. If the number of purebred divine dragons was not hidden, there were three: the Water Dragon King, the Water Dragon Queen, and the Water Dragon Palace Princess that they gave birth to. The one Wang Xian met last time should be the Water Dragon Palace Princess. Just as he was about to speed up, he sensed a wave of energy. This made his eyes narrow. Behind him, a hand reached out from the crack in the void. The black and ferocious hand seemed to have reached out from hell. The black hand was only half a meter in size, and it grabbed towards him. What's going on? He narrowed his eyes slightly, and a chain wrapped around the black claw. Roar! The hand sensed the power of the chain and immediately shrank into the void. Come out! Wang Xian narrowed his eyes and his body shook. He reached out and pulled. However, at this moment, the black claw seemed to break and was pulled up by him. Dragon Eye! When Wang Xian saw this, the divine dragon in his eyes flickered as he looked down. Radiant Dragon Claw. His arm turned into a radiant dragon claw and grabbed downwards. Chapter 3230. Ghostly Dragon Nether Clawwong. Z. When the bright dragon claw reached into the crack, the sound of corrosion could be heard. TSK, how dare you sneak an attack on me? Get out. Wang Xian grabbed with his dragon claw and pulled out a 100-meter dark attribute creature. He squinted his eyes as he sensed the power of the bloodline of this creature. He could sense the power of the divine dragon bloodline from this creature. This was a semi-dragon. It had a 100-meter body with 2 horrifying claws and a bony head. It exuded a sinister and hideous aura. Let me go. Let me go now. The dark attribute semi-dragon stared at Wang Xian and roared with blood-red eyes. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and stared at the semi-dragon. Such pure power of bloodline. Even among the dragon species, it's considered strong. It's comparable to a high-level dragon species and can fight 2 levels above it. He was a little surprised. The divine dragon bloodline in this dragon species was very strong. It could fight 2 levels above it. Even at the peak of the divine dragon species, it wouldn't be considered weak. Soul assimilation. His eyes flickered, and he immediately activated the soul assimilation power. However, just as Wang Xian cast the soul assimilation power, a horrifying roar rushed into his mind. In the next moment, a ghostly figure attacked him again. Courting death. Wang Xian sensed the horrifying attack, and his expression changed slightly. He released the horrifying power of light from his body, and the spears of light attacked him. Roar! The figure that attacked him was like a ghost. As though it didn't have a corpse, it dodged Wang Xian's attack easily and continued to attack him. Demigods. 8 divisions. Wang Xian focused his eyes and cast the law of the divine dragon. The mystical dragon phantoms from all directions bombarded the ghostly figure. Wang Xian's dragon eyes flickered as he locked on to the ghostly figure. It was a divine dragon with a hideous face. He didn't have a physical body and was a horrifying existence formed by the creepy dark energy. His head was similar to the divine dragon, but he was unusually hideous. His body was similar to the devil dragon, another powerful dragon species. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with astonishment. Rays of light shone from his dragon eyes as the chain slowly extended to the surroundings. Roar! The sinister-looking dark dragon species was attacked by the 8 divine dragon shadows. Seeing the blood-red chains extending towards it, its eyes revealed a trace of solemnity and fear. Buzz! In the next moment, his entire body was like a cloud of black smoke as he quickly fled backward. It was extremely strange. Wang Xian frowned slightly when he saw him escaping. This strange dragon species was also a high-level dragon species. It had the combat power of a universe venerable rank 5. Two powerful dragon species actually ambushed me. Wang Xian was perplexed as he looked at the dragon species that he had caught. Let go of me now, or you will suffer a bitter revenge. The dragon that was caught by him glared at Wang Xian and roared, Buzz. With a wave of his arm, Wang Xian unleashed the power of soul assimilation once again. A wave of information entered Wang Xian's mind, causing him to squint his eyes and sparkle. Netherclaw, Ghost Dragon. This was the information he had obtained. Netherclaw was the name of the dragon species in front of him, and Ghost Dragon was the name of the dragon species that had just escaped. Netherclaw and Ghost Dragon belonged to the powerful dragon species of the Devil Dragon lineage. They belonged to the most powerful legion of the Devil Dragon lineage. The number of the two dragon species was not large, with only a few hundred members. However, they were the two most powerful legions of the Devil Dragon lineage, hunting all the experts that enter and exit the Water Dragon Palace. Is the Devil Dragon lineage going to deal with the Water Dragon Palace? Wang Xian checked the information in his mind and murmured. He also received another piece of information. Not only them, but the experts from the Fire Dragon Palace were also lying in ambush nearby. However, they were lying in ambush in another location. The ambushers from the Fire Dragon Palace also had a reputation that was no less than theirs. Dragon Eagle, Fire Cloud. This was the name of the ambush legion from the Fire Dragon Palace. They were also powerful high-level dragons. TSK, I didn't expect to be involved in the War of the Divine Dragon lineage unknowingly. Fire God Palace, Devil Dragon lineage. With a hesitant look on his face, he moved and continued to fly towards the Water Dragon Palace. Their war had nothing to do with him. He was just here to take a look and go back after a round. He didn't intend to stay in the Water Dragon Palace for long. When the strength of the Dragon Palace increased, he would come back to annihilate the Horned Seal race. Wang Xian pondered and continued to fly in the direction of the Water Dragon Palace. The corpse of the Netherclaw Dragon was kept by Wang Xian. A high-level dragon species was not bad in the universe. For the bloodline and physique of a high-level race in the universe, crossing 2 levels was the limit. Wang, when he passed through the clouds and entered the sky above the Water Dragon continent, he injected some energy into the Water Dragon Pearl. Swish, swish. Before he could get close to the sea below, a middle-aged figure flew over. My benefactor, welcome to the Water Dragon Palace. Shui Yun looked at Wang Xian with glistening eyes as he cupped his fists. It's really difficult to enter the Water Dragon Palace. There are ambushers outside. Chu Xian said with a smile. Ambushers. Shui Yun was slightly taken aback when he heard Wang Xian. He frowned and asked, Who attacked you, my benefactor? Netherclaw and Ghost Dragon. Is the Water Dragon Palace going to war with the Devil Dragon lineage? Wang Xian didn't hide what he had obtained and asked openly. Benefactor, please come in. This is not something I can decide. We are indeed in conflict with other divine dragon lineages. Shui Yun shook his head and extended his hand in invitation. He didn't say much. I'm also very curious about the divine dragon lineage. I'm here to take a look. Wang Xian chuckled and followed beside him. Benefactor, you are also a member of the divine dragon lineage. We naturally welcome you. Shui Yun smiled and didn't say much. Even at this moment, he was slightly wary of this benefactor of his. Wang Xian nodded. He also noticed Shui Yun's scruples. He followed him to the front of the Water Dragon Palace. Looking at the majestic Water Dragon Palace, his eyes were filled with astonishment. The Water Dragon Palace was dozens of times larger than the Sky Sea Dragon Palace. It seems like the Water Dragon Palace has also obtained a great opportunity. This Dragon Palace should be the Dragon Palace of the Dominator-level Water Dragon King. Wang Xian sized it up and was extremely surprised. This Dragon Palace was stronger than the Dragon Palace created by the system. This way, benefactor. Shui Yun led him inside. After passing through the Dragon Gate, Wang Xian felt like he was being watched. Chapter 32-31. Please remember this site's domain name, Booksea Pavilion, and find your way home. What a strong water attribute energy. What a powerful aura. Wang Xian followed beside Shui Yun and observed the surroundings with a face full of emotions. The spiritual energy contained in the Water Dragon Palace made him slightly astonished. Benefactor, our Water Dragon Palace is a fortuitous encounter between our Water Dragon King and Water Dragon Queen. It is the Dragon Palace of a ruler-level senior. Once we close the Dragon Palace, even a pinnacle universe supremacy powerhouse can forget about breaking in. Enemies who enter our Water Dragon Palace will be suppressed, even if they are pinnacle universe supremacies. Shui Yun raised his head slightly with a hint of confidence and pride on his face. The Water Dragon Palace was the Water Dragon clan's greatest trump card and reliance. Even if the Fire Divine Dragon and the Devil Dragon lineage wanted to deal with them, they were not afraid at all. Wang Xian nodded his head slightly. He knew a little about the power of the real Dragon Palace. The Heavenly Sea Dragon King's Dragon Palace was the best example. The Water Dragon Palace only relied on this dragon vein. Other than the pinnacle races, it was difficult for other races to destroy them. Of course, there might be some strange methods. However, it would be very difficult to break into the Water Dragon Palace. This was the divine dragon that was once the strongest race in the universe. Wang Xian followed Shui Yun and met some disciples of the Water Dragon Palace. They looked at Wang Xian curiously, and Wang Xian scanned them. They were all semi-dragons, ordinary dragons. They weren't weak, but they weren't strong either. Wang Xian didn't take the arrows of the Water Dragon Palace to heart. Now that the Water Dragon Palace and the Fire Dragon Palace were in a tense state, it was only right to be on guard. The layout of the Water Dragon Palace was basically the same as the Heavenly Sea Dragon Palace, but it was larger. Many marine creatures and semi-dragons lived in it. There were all kinds of fish and semi-dragons, making the entire Water Dragon Palace exceptionally beautiful. Oh, by the way, have you subdued the ferocious dragon 10-headed star beast? Wang Xian asked after following Shui Yun for more than an hour. To tell you the truth, not long after you left, we were attacked by the Fire Dragon Palace. The savage dragon 10-headed giant star beast was snatched away by the people from the Fire Dragon Palace. Even our princess was severely injured. Shui Yun's eyes were filled with rage. Oh? Wang Xian raised an eyebrow. Welcome, friend, to the Water Dragon Palace. Thank you for saving Shui Yun's life last time. At this time, a graceful and luxuriously dressed woman walked over. She had dragon horns on her head, and she exuded a powerful aura. Water Dragon Queen. Shui Yun immediately bowed. It's nothing. I came to the Water Dragon Palace today because I'm curious. I want to see the inheritance of a purebred divine dragon. Sorry to disturb you, Water Dragon Queen. Wang Xian looked at the woman and cupped his fists. Not at all. You're a guest, but I'm afraid we won't be able to properly entertain you in the near future. You should know a little about the situation outside. The Water Dragon Queen said with a smile. There's no need to be so polite. I'm just here to take a look. I'll leave in a while. Wang Xian smiled. He could see the wariness of the woman and Shui Yun. It was already good enough that they didn't chase him away, a stranger who came suddenly. Your Highness, you haven't recovered yet. Don't run around. At this time, a voice suddenly came from the front. Soon after, a woman wearing a white veil and with divine dragon horns on her head flew toward them. Behind her was a helpless woman. Hee, I'm fine. Although my injuries are serious, they don't hurt anymore. I have something to discuss with my mother. The woman spoke with a smile on her face and flew straight towards the middle-aged woman. Why aren't you lying in bed? Why are you running out? The Water Dragon Queen looked at the woman with doting eyes. Hee, mother, give me the dragon token. I want to go to the Dragon King Palace. I want to recover quickly. I want to teach those guys from the Fire Dragon Palace a lesson. The woman walked to the side of the Water Dragon Queen, held her arm, and said with a smile. Wang Xian looked at the princess of the Water Dragon Palace with a tinge of curiosity. She should be the one he saw the last time. In human form, she looked like she was 17 or 18 years old. Her body was full of life, as though it was made of water. Even the dragon horns on her head were pink and tender. All right, child, can't you see that we are receiving guests? The water dragon queen touched her head with doting affection. I know, I know. I won't disturb you. The princess of the water dragon palace let out a crisp and weak voice. I'm sorry, friend. My daughter is slightly injured. The water dragon queen handed a dragon token to her daughter and smiled apologetically at Wang Xian. I'm fine. Wang Xian shook his head and looked at the princess of the water dragon palace. Suddenly, he raised his eyebrows. After hesitating for a moment, he opened his dragon eyes and stared at her body. Within her body, there was a ball of red flame. She was also injured. To Wang Xian's surprise, there was a flame in this ball of flame that was connected to her head. Seeing this situation, coupled with his control of soul assimilation, and the reaction of the branches of the longevity tree and the soul-returning wood, he could basically confirm one thing. Mother, I'll go and recover from my injuries first. The princess of the Water Dragon Palace waved to her mother after getting the dragon token. Water Dragon Queen, I have to remind you that your girl is now under someone else's control. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before reminding the Water Dragon Queen. When the Water Dragon Empress heard his sudden words, she was slightly taken aback and slowly furrowed her brows. Benefactor, what do you mean by that? Shui Yun, who was at the side, narrowed her eyes and asked Wang Xian. There's another special energy in her body that is controlling her actions. It's better for you to check her out. Wang Xian continued plainly to them. The expression of the Water Dragon Queen changed slightly. What nonsense are you talking about? Who are you saying is being controlled? At this time, the princess of the Water Dragon Palace, who had just left, turned around and stared at him with dissatisfaction. Wang Xian did not speak, but looked at the Water Dragon Queen. How can I not tell that my own daughter is different? The Water Dragon Queen said to Wang Xian. However, her eyes were flickering. Linglong, I'll consume some energy to help you recover from your injuries. She looked at her daughter and said, Mother, don't you believe me? The princess of the Water Dragon Palace pouted and said unhappily, Don't be stubborn, lass. Heal your injuries completely so that I don't have to worry about you. The Water Dragon Queen waved at her and looked at her with concern. Be *starred. You ruined my plan. You're courting death. No matter where you escape to in the universe, I'll annihilate you and wipe out your entire clan. Suddenly, the princess of the Water Dragon Palace had a drastic change of expression as she stared at Wang Xian with a hideous look. Chapter 3232. Due to unknown reasons, this site is suddenly unavailable on Sogu today. Bastard, you ruined my plan. You're courting death. No matter where you escape to in the universe, I'll annihilate you and your entire clan. The princess of the Water Dragon Palace said in a menacing voice. At this moment, her aura had completely changed. She stared at Wang Xian with fury in her eyes. His plan was actually destroyed by this guy. This is a plan I've been preparing for a long time. Seeing this, the Water Dragon Queen's expression changed drastically. Fire Dragon Lord, get out of my daughter's body immediately. She clenched her fists and shouted with reddened eyes. Ha ha ha, Water Dragon Queen, if your Water Dragon Palace submits to our Fire Dragon Palace, I can consider letting your daughter go. Otherwise, you'll only get a corpse. The Water Dragon Palace princess stared at the Water Dragon Queen and roared ferociously. Do you think that's possible? Fire Dragon Lord, if anything happens to my daughter, I will make your Fire Dragon Palace pay a painful price, even if it means that both of us are severely injured. The Water Dragon Queen roared with murderous intent in her eyes. Then let's give it a try. Water Dragon Queen, I'll soon destroy your Water Dragon Palace. And you, damn guy, I'll turn your bones into ashes. The Water Dragon Palace princess roared ferociously as her gaze fell on Wang Xian again. Get out of my daughter's body. The Water Dragon Queen was extremely embarrassed. She moved and appeared beside her daughter instantly. Ha ha ha. You'll only get a corpse. Seeing the Water Dragon Queen approaching her, the Water Dragon Palace princess did not move at all. She said in a menacing tone, Wang. A terrifying flame shot out from her body, and the body of the Water Dragon Palace's princess began to crack. No. Seeing this, the Water Dragon Queen's expression changed drastically. She moved her palm, and terrifying water attribute power surged into her body. Annihilate my entire clan? Turn my bones into ashes? Hearing this, Wang Xian sneered coldly. Seeing the water dragon queen trying her best to stop the overflow of flames, his eyes flickered. Her method will not have any change in the result. Wang, leave the water dragon empress to me. Wang Xian waved his arm, and the 5 elements grindstone flew towards the head of the water dragon palace princess. Roar! The 5 divine dragons roared, and the 5 elements rotated. The fire that shot out from the princess's body was converted into water energy that flowed into her body. Seeing this, the water dragon empress was startled as she hurriedly retracted her palm and looked at the 5 elements grindstone in astonishment. As the 5 elements revolved, fire generated earth, earth generated metal, and metal generated water. The water energy entered the water dragon princess body. The remaining flames in her body were converted into water attribute energy through the 5 elements grindstone and entered his body. This formed a cycle, and the power of the flames inside completely disappeared. Ling long, ling long. At this moment, a furious voice sounded, and the water dragon king appeared at the side with an anxious expression. Husband! The water dragon queen hurriedly pulled his arm, signaling him not to speak. The water dragon king's body trembled slightly. His eyes were filled with anger and worry as he looked at his daughter. Wang Xian looked on and moved to the front of the water dragon palace princess. With a move of his palm, the branches of the Fushang tree and unending wood landed on her body slowly. The Fushang tree and unending wood were targeted at the soul aspect, and they were used to remove the remnant soul of the fire dragon lord in her body. Wang. The radiance of the Fushang tree and unending wood shrouded the head of the water dragon palace princess, and her hideous face gradually disappeared. Smack! She smacked her lips and fell to the side as though she was in a deep sleep. Wang Xian was speechless as he looked at her and reached out to support her body. The flames that overflowed from her body had gradually disappeared. Under the operation of the 5 elements, even her internal injuries had recovered completely. Ling long, ling long. The water dragon king and the water dragon queen walked over immediately with excitement on their faces. Phew, it's great that you're fine. The water dragon king checked and heaved a sigh of relief. Father, I seem to be controlled by someone? At this moment, Shui Linglong's eyelashes moved. She opened her eyes and shook her head in confusion. She knew everything that had happened just now, but it felt like a dream. She couldn't tell reality from reality. It's great that you're fine. The water dragon king touched his daughter's head and said softly. Wang Xian shook his head speechlessly as he looked at the confused water dragon palace princess. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, we really can't imagine what the consequences would be. The water dragon queen walked over and thanked him with lingering fear. They had never expected that the fire dragon palace would plant such a terrifying seed when they snatched the giant beast of the starry sky. Perhaps the snatching of the giant beast of the starry sky was also part of this plan. Once their daughter was controlled and the dragon token was taken away, the fire dragon lord would be able to open the door to the water dragon palace and enter at will. The consequences were unimaginable to them. It might even be a disaster for them. It's all right. I was just helping out. Wang Xian shook his head nonchalantly. He had never expected to encounter such a thing. Phew, thank you for saving my daughter. Thank you. The water dragon king also walked over and thanked Wang Xian profusely. Wang Xian continued to shake his head. I haven't had the chance to ask for your name. I'm really sorry. The water dragon queen bowed to him apologetically. From the moment Wang Xian came in, they had been vigilant in case he was from the fire god palace. If it weren't for him, it would have been a huge blow to the water dragon palace and them. You can just call me Wang Xian. I'm also from the divine dragon lineage. As Wang Xian spoke, he accepted their gratitude. He had indeed helped them through a huge crisis. Thank you, big brother. I've seen you before. You're the one who suppressed the savage dragon, 10-headed beast of the starry sky. Shui Linglong looked at Wang Xian with twinkling eyes and exclaimed in surprise. Yeah. Wang Xian nodded. I didn't expect your giant beast of the starry sky to be snatched away. It's all because of those bastards. Shui Linglong nodded. Thank you for what you did just now. If it weren't for you, we would be in big trouble. Hee Linglong, you really have to thank young Master Wang Xian. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. The Water Dragon Queen smiled and looked at Wang Xian. Young Master Wang, let's go in and have a seat. This time, the Water Dragon Palace really has to thank you. All right. I'm here to take a look at the Water Dragon Palace and some divine dragon lineages. Wang Xian nodded. Chapter 32-33. Joining the battle on the battlefield. How is it? Look, I'm a purebred divine dragon, a water divine dragon. My parents are also purebred water divine dragons. In the entire Water Dragon Palace, only the three of us are purebred divine dragons. In the Dragon King Hall of the Water Dragon Palace, Shui Linglong transformed into a water linglong, swaying her body as she flew in front of Wang Xian. Her face was full of pride. It was suspected that there were only 3 purebred water divine dragons in the universe. The rest of the divine dragon lineage did not have any purebred water divine dragons. Impressive. Wang Xian looked at Shui Linglong swaying her body as though she was showing off. He smiled and praised her. That weapon of yours is also quite powerful. I can sense a powerful divine dragon's bloodline power. Let me see your body. Shui Linglong turned into her human form and walked in front of him and asked curiously. Divine dragons were able to sense each other. Wang Xian could sense Shui Linglong's bloodline power, and Shui Linglong could sense his bloodline power too. Linglong, don't be so rude. The Water Dragon King glared at his daughter and said with a smile, It's fine. Wang Xian shook his head indifferently. With a move, he immediately transformed into his divine dragon body. He shrunk his body to about 10 meters. An 8-colored light radiated from his body. A powerful dragon aura made Shui Linglong widen her eyes and retreat uncontrollably. The entire divine dragon body looked abnormally radiant and majestic. Only the unbeginning saint wings slightly affected the beauty. But even so, Shui Linglong, the Water Dragon King, and the Water Dragon Queen were also shocked. Feeling this terrifying pressure, their faces turned solemn. The Water Dragon King and the Water Dragon Queen looked at each other. I didn't expect Mr. Wang Xian to have the combat power of a rank 5 universe venerable. Your divine dragon bloodline is also so strong. You must be a mutated purebred divine dragon? The Water Dragon Queen asked with flickering eyes. You can say so. Wang Xian nodded and returned to his human form. Mutated purebred divine dragon? Isn't that stronger than a purebred divine dragon? Shui Linglong widened her eyes and exclaimed in disbelief. She knew about the mutated purebred divine dragons, including the Bone Dragon and the Frost Divine Dragon. These mutated divine dragons were a level stronger than purebred divine dragons at the same realm. Even in the universe, he was an existence that surpassed the pinnacle. This was an alien species, and there weren't many of them in the universe. Wang Xian smiled when he saw her surprised look. Mutated divine dragons were extremely rare even during the peak of the divine dragon race. Who would have expected Mr. Wang Xian to have such a fortuitous encounter? On the stage, the Water Dragon King sighed. Let's talk while we eat. Linglong will bring young Master Wang Xian around our Water Dragon Palace later. At this time, the maids of the Water Dragon Palace served exquisite food, and the Water Dragon Queen said with a smile, all right. I'll take you to the Water Dragon Palace later. I didn't expect you to be so powerful. You're about the same as my father and mother. However, my strength is already comparable to a level 4 universe venerable. It won't be long before I surpass you guys. Shui Linglong spoke and slightly raised her head. These are some delicacies from our Water Dragon Palace. Please enjoy, young Master Wang Xian. The Water Dragon King smiled and gestured. All right. Wang Xian nodded. The food was a level 4 universe venerable fruit, made with some seasonings. There were also a few pieces of meat at the side, which contained majestic energy. This meal was extremely sumptuous. At least, it was the best food Wang Xian had eaten so far. Let's go. I'll bring you to the Water Dragon Palace. After the meal, Shui Linglong waved at him and said, "Hee." The Water Dragon King and Water Dragon Queen looked at their backs and smiled. If Linglong can be with young Master Wang Xian, it'll be a good thing. Watching them leave, the Water Dragon Queen said with a smile, it's indeed the best choice. The offspring of a mutated divine dragon and a purebred divine dragon is very likely to be a purebred divine dragon. Even if it's not, it might be the legendary pinnacle dragon species. The Water Dragon King nodded slightly. I'm not talking about the bloodline. I feel that Linglong is very enthusiastic about Wang Xian. The Water Dragon Queen rolled her eyes and said, "Haha, it's a good thing, a good thing." The Water Dragon King laughed. "Damn brat, how dare you spoil my plan? I'm going to kill you." Just as Shui Linglong brought Wang Xian around the Water Dragon Palace, in a faraway starry sky, the entire starry sky was covered in blood-red light. In the starry sky, meteorites emitting magma floated around, densely packed together. At a glance, this was the starry sky of flames. In the middle of this starry sky, there was a humongous flaming planet. It was dozens of times bigger and hundreds of times hotter than the sun and other starry sky. From time to time, one could see terrifying magma erupting. In the middle of this flaming planet, there was a humongous flame dragon palace. In the Dragon King's shop of the Flame Dragon Palace, a fire divine dragon was roaring furiously. Below it, a dozen dragon-like dragons were trembling and crawling below, not daring to breathe. "Fire Dragon Lord, the plan has failed. If we can't open the door of the Water Dragon Palace, how are we going to attack it? TSK, what a waste of my time." At the side, a middle-aged man in black armor with dragon claws and dragon tail stood there. He looked at the Fire Dragon Lord and snorted. His eyes were filled with dissatisfaction. "Don't worry. Although this plan has failed, I still have other plans. I'll destroy the Water Dragon Palace," the Fire Dragon Lord said with a stern face. His expression was a little ugly. "Huh, you still have a way to open the Water Dragon Palace?" The middle-aged man with dragon claws and dragon tail was shocked. "Of course I can. Get your men ready," the Fire Dragon Lord said coldly as the flames on his body rose. "All right, Fire Dragon Lord, I'll trust you one last time. We'll strike in a month," the middle-aged man with dragon claws and dragon tail said coldly as his figure disappeared instantly. The Fire Dragon Lord let out a furious roar. With a wave of his arm, a crystal box flew over. He opened it slowly, revealing a dragon ball that was emitting a blue glow. The entire Dragon Ball exuded terrifying power. This was the Dragon Ball of the Water Dragon Palace. What a waste of such a treasure. The Fire Dragon Lord roared in a low voice. "Pass down my order. Kill everyone who enters and exits the Water Dragon Palace. Seal the entire Water Dragon Palace. I'll destroy them in a month." Soon, the order was passed down in the Fire Dragon Palace. Yes, the dragon-like dragons of the Fire Dragon Palace immediately responded. Chapter 32-34. Battle Below, how is it? Our Water Dragon Palace is not bad, right? Inside the Water Dragon Palace, Shui Linglong brought him around with a smile on her face. "Very beautiful." Wang Xian nodded his head and replied sincerely. The Water Dragon Palace was very exquisite, with all kinds of semi-dragons and marine creatures living in it. It was much more exquisite than the Dragon Palace. After all, there were only those dragon species in the Dragon Palace. "There's something fun below the Dragon King Hall. Let's go. I'll bring you there." As Shui Linglong spoke, she led Wang Xian into the building. "Dragon King and Dragon Queen, we found the Dragon Hawk Legion and Fire Cloud Legion of the Fire Dragon Palace, as well as the Ghost Dragon Legion and the Netherclaw Legion. The 4 legions are scattered around our Water Dragon Palace. Right now, some of the disciples who are flying back have been attacked by them. When they arrived at the Dragon King Hall, they saw dozens of semi-dragons from the Water Dragon Palace reporting. Shui Linglong suddenly brought him in, which stunned the group of semi-dragons. They looked at Wang Xian in surprise. However, they knew their princess very well, so they weren't too surprised when the little princess suddenly came in. "The Fire Dragon Palace and the demonic dragon lineage are going to war with us. The Dragon Hawk Legion of the Fire Dragon Palace is good at reconnaissance, while the Fire Cloud Legion, the Netherclaw Legion, and the Ghost Dragon lineage are very good at assassination. They are going to seal off our Water Dragon Palace. The Water Dragon King said coldly on the dragon throne. Water Dragon King, with our strength, we are no match for the 4 legions. Below, an old man replied with a solemn expression. In terms of comprehensive strength, the Fire Dragon Palace is stronger than us, and the Demonic Dragon lineage is not weaker than us. Now that their most elite Dragon Legion is surrounding us, we, the West Water Tribe and the Hidden Water Tribe, can do nothing. The old woman said with an unsightly expression. The Hidden Water Tribe and the West Water Tribe were the strongest legions of the Water Dragon Palace, and they were also powerful dragon species. The 2 legions didn't have many members, only about 500 or so. These 2 legions were as famous as the Dragon Hawk Legion and the Fire Cloud Legion. Seal off the Water Dragon Palace. They can't guard around our Water Dragon Palace forever. We can afford to waste our time with them. The Water Dragon Queen said with a sullen face. The wyverns below nodded slightly. This was the only way. They were self-sufficient in the Water Dragon Palace. The Water Dragon Palace's defense was almost invincible, so they were not worried about the other party attacking. Although he felt very sullen, there was nothing he could do about it. When Wang Xian heard their conversation, his eyes flickered. The 2 divine dragon lineages and the Water Dragon Palace are at war? Let's go. We don't have to worry about these things. Shui Linglong also heard the words of her father, mother, and empress, so she didn't care about it and pulled him towards the back. Although she was a purebred divine dragon, it did not affect the battle at all. She pulled Wang Xian to the bottom of the Dragon King Hall. This place was transformed into a crystal world using crystals. The entire space was dreamy and beautiful. How about it? Is it beautiful? My father made it for me, hee. Shui Linglong said to him happily. Wang Xian nodded his head. He hesitated for a moment before asking, do you know much about the Fire Dragon Palace and the Devil Dragon lineage? Brother Wang Xian, why are you asking about these things? Shui Linglong was taken aback and looked at him strangely. Brother Wang Xian, are you trying to help us? Although you are strong, it's still very difficult to change the situation of the battle. The Fire Dragon Palace has 6 divine dragons and sky dragons with rank 5 combat power. The Devil Dragon lineage also has 5 to 6. Moreover, they have extremely powerful supreme treasures. As she spoke, she frowned slightly and continued, given their strength, they are able to fight on land. However, they might be afraid of losing too much. Hence, they have not entered the chaotic continent. 5 to 6? In addition to powerful supreme treasures, they should be able to fight against rank 6 universe supremacies. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows as he pondered deeply. They weren't weak, but they weren't strong enough to make him worry. Do you know anything about Dragon Eagle and Fire Cloud? Wang Xian asked her. He knew a lot about Netherclaw and Spectral Dragon and was clear about the strength of these 2 armies. However, he wasn't sure about Dragon Eagle and Fire Cloud. I have a copy of the information here, but it might not be 100% accurate. Shui Linglong took out the Universe AI and sent a message to him. It's slightly stronger than the information about Netherclaw and Spectral Dragon that I obtained from Soul Assimilation. However, it's about the same. Wang Xian took a look and his eyes sparkled. The reason why he wanted this information was to participate in the war between the Water Dragon Palace, Fire Dragon Palace, and the Devil Dragon lineage. Previously, the resources that the Dragon Palace obtained from the Sky Sea Dragon King had greatly improved the Dragon Palace. If they could annihilate the Fire Dragon Palace and the Devil Dragon lineage, the Dragon Palace would improve qualitatively again. After annihilating them, the Dragon Palace could easily set foot on the chaotic continent. He might be able to improve his own strength. If he were to improve again this time, he would have the combat power of a rank 7 universe supremacy. A contemplative look appeared on his face. What's wrong, big brother Wang Xian? Shui Linglong waved her hand in front of him and asked curiously. Nothing. Wang Xian smiled and looked at her. Do you need my help to deal with the Fire God Palace and the Devil Dragon lineage? Huh? Big brother Wang Xian, you have a way? Shui Linglong looked at him in shock. Of course. Wang Xian nodded. took out the computer and sent a message to Prime Minister Turtle. How's the improvement of the members of the Dragon Palace? Dragon King, the improvement has been completed. Prime Minister Turtle replied quickly. Good. Get the strongest members of the Spike Dragon lineage, Arrow Dragon lineage, and Mystic Dragon lineage to prepare. 200 members each. Get Sky Formation to come over. Wang Xian immediately instructed. Let's go to the entrance of the Water Dragon Palace. As Wang Xian spoke, he looked at Shui Linglong. Huh. Shui Linglong looked at him in surprise, nodded blankly, and followed behind. Your Highness, the situation is critical now. Please don't go out. When they arrived at the entrance of the Dragon Gate, the 2 Water Dragon Palace guards said, It's okay. Just stay at the entrance and don't go anywhere else. Wang Xian said, and Shui Linglong immediately followed behind. The 2 guards opened their mouths, hesitated for a moment, and followed behind. Wang Xian walked to the entrance, waved his arm, and a summoning altar appeared. Wang. Soon, Ao Yao Sky Formation and the rest appeared in the summoning altar. A total of about 600 members of the Dragon Palace appeared slowly. Today's last chapter. Chapter 32-35. Dear readers, please remember the domain name of this site and find your way home. Greetings, Dragon King. In front of the Water Dragon Palace, Tianjin and the rest appeared and greeted Wang Xian respectfully. On the side, Shui Linglong's face revealed a shocked expression. The 2 guards of the Water Dragon Palace were on high alert. Get up. Wang Xian looked at them with a smile. Tianjin, Spike Dragon, Mystic Dragon, and Arrow Dragon. 3 elites of the dragon species. All of them had the combat strength of a universe venerable. Tianjin's current strength had reached the combat strength of a rank 5 universe venerable. Among rank 5 universe venerables, he was considered top-notch. Brother Wang Xian, you are? Shui Linglong couldn't help but stare at him and exclaim, I belong to the Divine Dragon lineage. They are my subordinates. Wang Xian smiled faintly at her. Aren't the Fire Dragon Palace and the Devil Dragon lineage your enemies? I can help you deal with them. Huh. This. Shui Linglong's eyes widened and she didn't know what to say. Tianjin, use the crescent moon in the sky and the array to check the surroundings. It's best if you can find out who is hiding in the surroundings. Wang Xian looked at the sky array at the side and instructed it. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjin nodded. Brother Wang Xian, are you going to help us deal with the Fire Dragon Palace and the Devil Dragon lineage? They are very strong. Shui Linglong walked over. Her face was filled with shock as she stared blankly at him. I also want to see their powerful dragon species. Wang Xian nodded. He was really curious about these dragon palaces. Brother Wang Xian, you are the best. I'm going to tell my father and mother. Shui Linglong cheered and flew into the Water Dragon Palace immediately. The other 2 guards of the Water Dragon Palace stood at the side, looked at each other, and returned to their positions. Enlai. Wang Xian shook his head as he watched Shui Linglong leave. He turned to Enlai and called out, Enlai, Dragon King. Enlai bowed and waited for the order. I'll send you a set of information. When you go back, get Prime Minister Turtle and the rest to prepare. Then, we will destroy the Hornseal race. Wang Xian said to him, It's Dragon King. Enlai was taken aback for a moment, then he nodded. Wang Xian had a rough understanding of the Hornseal race's strength. After killing 2 Tier 5 supremacies, the Hornseal race still had 4 Tier 5 supremacies. This number was quite a lot for the current Dragon Palace. After all, apart from himself, there were only 4 people in the Dragon Palace. However, the 4 from the Dragon Palace were incomparable to the 4 from the Hornseal race. It was not difficult for the Dragon Palace to exterminate the Hornseal race. As long as the Venom Horn Dragon could infiltrate the interior of the Hornseal race, it would be very easy to destroy them. When the time came, he wouldn't even have to do anything himself. Buzz. Wang Xian waved his arm and a message was transmitted to Enlai's mind. Enlai clasped his hands together and disappeared. When the Dragon Palace wanted to exterminate the Hornseal's race, the heavenly array would be there. Wang Xian thought to himself as he looked at the sky array at the side. At this moment, The heavenly formation was setting up a formation, preparing to investigate the surrounding void. As a rank 5 universe venerable dragon witch, his strength was definitely one of the best in the Fire Dragon Palace and the Demon Dragon lineage. Buzz. At this moment, a dozen figures flew over quickly. The Water Dragon King and the Water Dragon Queen looked around Wang Xian with astonishment in their eyes. A rank 5 universe venerable array master. 600 subordinates of the universe venerable level. That light and darkness integration dragon is very strange. It must be at least a high-level dragon. The Water Dragon Empress glanced over and her eyes were filled with astonishment. So powerful? Big brother Wang Xian has so many powerful subordinates? Shui Linglong exclaimed when she heard her mother's voice. Young Master Wang Xian, you want to help us deal with the Fire Dragon Palace and the Demon Dragon lineage? You want to participate in our war? The Water Dragon King stared at Wang Xian and asked. Yes. The Fire Dragon Lord said that no matter where I escape to, he will destroy me. In that case, I can only let him know the price of his words. Wang Xian smiled faintly. Young Master Wang Xian, there's no need for that. If you stay in our Water Dragon Palace, they won't be able to break through our defense. With us around, they won't be able to hurt you. The Water Dragon King shook his head and said sincerely, It's okay. I also know that I can't compete with them with my strength, but I'll play with them first. Wang Xian said indifferently. He didn't intend to defeat or even destroy the other party when he called Roving Demon and the rest over. He just wanted to understand the strength and abilities of the two high-level dragons of the Divine Dragon lineage, to see if there were any hidden peak races. Of course, a large part of the reason was that the Fire Dragon Lord said that he wanted to destroy him. In that case, he would play with them. Anyway, with the Water Dragon Palace behind him, he could escape if he couldn't win. The Water Dragon King and the Water Dragon Queen were speechless when they heard his words. The experts of the Water Dragon Palace behind them also couldn't understand why the expert who saved their princess would do this. Since young Master Wang Xian is ready to make a move, let's use the Water Hidden Tribe and Westwater Tribe to play with them. The Water Dragon King said with a flash of sharpness in his eyes. Water Dragon King, we have the geographical advantage. They surrounded the Water Dragon Palace. Do they think we are easy to bully? Let them know how powerful we are. Immediately, the experts of the Water Dragon Palace echoed, That's right, let them know how powerful we are. The experts of the Water Dragon Palace roared, All right. The Water Dragon King nodded heavily with a hint of coldness in his eyes. Let the disciples of the Water Hidden Tribe and Westwater Tribe get ready. Kill. He roared with a murderous look. The west side is blocked by the Netherclaw and Ghost Dragon army of the Demonic Dragon lineage. The east side is the Fire Cloud and Dragon Hawk army of the Fire Dragon Palace. I'm going to let my subordinates attack the Netherclaw and Ghost Dragon army. Wang Xian looked at them and said with a smile, All right, let's go meet the experts of the Fire Dragon Palace. The Water Dragon King and the rest nodded with a sinister glint in their eyes. With a move, they immediately flew in the other direction of the Water Dragon Palace. Big brother Wang Xian, I'm with you. Are we going to make a move later? Shui Linglong stared ahead and asked excitedly. No need. We'll just watch from here. Wang Xian shook his head and looked at the heaven array in front of him. After that, the heaven spiritual treasure crescent moon shone in the sky. Together with the array formation, he began to scan the surroundings. As long as one's strength didn't exceed rank 5 universe supremacy, there would be nowhere to hide under his array formation. Dragon King, it's done. After a full 2 hours, Heaven Array waved his arm and reported to Wang Xian, You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.